It is now 85 seconds to midnight. 85 seconds to midnight. "85 seconds to midnight.
On full.
85 seconds to midnight.
Hello and welcome to a very full panel on the Preppers Fireside. This is a Q&A one, so they usually go on for quite a while. Feel free to get your questions in. Try and use capitals, use a question mark, and it'll get flagged. Use a super chat, it'll get prioritized. If you ask a question, don't repeat it 10 times. I'm working my way through them as we go. With that said, I want to reintroduce the panel to you so you know what you can ask and which direction you want to point that to. So we'll start with you, Andy. Please tell us a bit about your experience, why you prep, and what's your background.
So the reason I started prepping was in 2014-15 when the floods were really bad in York. I was in the military at the time, and we were tasked to go down and help evacuate people from the houses and try and stem the flooding. So that's why I started prepping, really. And my background is, I was in the artillery, but my background's in precision fires. So I fired missiles, which is prominent. Awesome. Obviously what's going on now. And yeah, so that's my background, and that's how I started prepping.
Excellent. Good to have you with us, Andy. John, Welsh prepper, could you tell us a bit about why you prep and your background and expertise, as it were?
Yeah, sure, Mike. Good evening, everyone. Welsh prepper, as you imagine, I live in West Wales. I was in the Air Force for 20 years, air traffic control. So have a lot of knowledge about area systems and what their capabilities are and how they interact, both offensively and defensively. Spent most of my career attached to the army, so parachuting, 3 operational tours, getting mortared in Kandahar was fun, that sort of thing. The reason I prep, it's just an extension of my military life, really. You get taught that no plan survives contact with the enemy, so you need a B, C, D, E, F, and it just went from there. So I've been prepping properly for probably about 7 years now. It's sort of a lifestyle rather than a hobby, I would say.
Excellent. Thank you very much, John. Good to have you here. Alan, the world survivalist, could you fill us in on what you do and your expertise?
Well, my name is Alan. I am an alcoholic, and I'm an expert in nothing. No, but
thanks, Alan. Moving on.
My interest is in survivalism generally, so most of that's around wilderness survivalism and things like that. That's something I've been interested in since I was a kid. But I also pay attention to current affairs and what's going on in the world, because to me, you know, the world is a place that you have to survive, hence the name. So keeping sort of tabs on what's going on and try to analyze it as best as possible is kind of like something I think everybody should do. And I try and pay attention as much as possible to what's going on so I can understand more about it. But I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm not an expert. So that part was true. So it's just all my opinions, really.
That's fine. That's fine. It's just to give people an idea of when they're thinking about what types of questions, if they want to aim it specifically at a person. Brian, same for you. Tell us where you're coming from with your prepping and your area of expertise, as it were.
There was a bad winter in 2010. Family was put at risk because we didn't have enough things in. Had to trek through the snow. People were starting to lose their marbles after a couple of days. Took 2 weeks to restock the shops. By trade, I'm a mechanical electrical engineer. Been off the tools for about 20 years, and I'm a grease monkey with a shirt and tie now, and just kind of pointing at things that's fucked.
Excellent, excellent. And your prepping's primarily around solar and stuff like that, right? For anyone asking about.
My interests are mostly around power banks and solar generation, that kind of things.
Cool. Hawkins, and finally yourself.
I'm just mental, and I just spend way too much money and time on prepping. I suppose strengths will be power, comms, water, fire. I don't know. I've delved into kind of most areas, to be honest. But yeah,
You're
comms would
pretty
probably
much
be
our
what you.
comms guy, though, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to setting up the communications and stuff.
Well, me and Andy can talk now, can't we, Andy? Not
Oh.
now, though. He's on mute.
Yeah.
I was, yeah. Yeah, we are. We're linked up now.
Andy's not a specialist on comms, as you
Yeah,
can
no,
see.
definitely not. That's what I've got Hawkins for. Yeah, we are, mate. We linked up at the weekend. I finally got some messages through, which was good.
Excellent. Awesome. Right. So that is our panel. I'm Mike, generally just general preparedness, been prepping for a long time, did it based around CMEs and things like that. Historical reenactor and historian is my interest, and that's what kind of took me down the avenue of prepping. I'm going more old school. But yeah, I've just got the pleasure of being able to bring all these guys together. So that's where I come in. Right. So before we dive into your questions, which we will do, we want to talk about what is going on right now. So I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently Iran can reach London with a rocket now. So anyone got any thoughts on the current news they would like to share? I don't want to go around the table asking, but I'm sure you've all got opinions to share.
As long as it's only London, does it matter?
Yeah, it's only zone 2. It's only zone 2. I'm 7. I'm all right.
It's interesting times, mate.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
When we first did one of the first firesides this year, I'd say 2026, tongue in cheek, could be the year of the prepper. Every other fireside since then, and we're only into March, has pretty much rubber stamped it. The world was unpredictable then, and it's a fire sale now. When we started talking about the Gulf a couple of weeks ago, we'd kind of the thought process was, as long as it doesn't go on too long, everything will be sunshine and lollipops. Well, there's no more sunshine. It's very cloudy, and the lollipops have been eaten. So things ain't looking good.
No more lollipops. Devastating. I mean, every 2 minutes, though, right? It's like, oh yeah, we've won. We've crushed Iran. There's nothing left. And then the same night, we're having rockets fly over. So I mean, is Trump just saying these things to try and keep that market stabilized slightly?
Perhaps he should tell Iran that they've won, because they don't seem to be on the same page. They're not buying into it.
No,
definitely not. The thing is, see the whole Iran can hit us with a missile type thing, or America or anywhere else. How many times have you heard that in your life about other countries? Do you remember North Korea was always, oh, they could hit London in 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, or they could hit Washington, or they could hit whatever. It always seems to be this country's such an exponential threat because it can now hit us with something. That's why we're taking this action now. And presumably, the media's jumped on this because they fired 2 rockets at that base that apparently we don't need
Diego
anymore.
Garcia.
Yeah, and from what I understand, one of them broke up in the atmosphere on re-entry, and the other one was destroyed by a US naval asset. So, yeah, maybe they do have 1 or 2 random missiles that can reach London, but so what? I mean, what are they going to do? Fire 1 rocket towards London and achieve what exactly?
That's all it would take, because we can't defend against.
We've no
rocket.
defence.
Well, that's what I was going to say, mate. So the thing with why they got taken out with Diego Garcia, the longer missiles in the air, the easier it is to take out, by and large. So that's why they were easy to take out. And like you say, we would be able to track it all the way until we got hit, but we would have absolutely nothing, so we could watch it in real time before it hit us, if that's what you're into. But we would have absolutely nowhere to stop it being hit, which is the problem, which is more of the issue for me. Like Alan said, have they actually got any, or have they got a big enough stockpile? Who knows? But if they did, it would be an issue because we have nowhere to stop it.
The thing is, I mean, do you not find it slightly strange that the media are making such a big point of this? Because I can think of no better reason now to continually hit Iran. Because, I mean, if they fire a rocket just now without nuclear weapons, well, so what? What's the worst damage they could do? Blow up 1 building, maybe, or something? I don't know how powerful these missiles are, but they're not devastating, you know? If they had a nuclear weapon, then they could put it on such a missile, well, then it would be an exponential threat. And therefore, we should go in and destroy all of their missile capabilities as a preemptive strike. I mean, is that not the path we're being led down? You know, that's what it seems like to me. I mean, I'm semi in favor of the war anyway. I think Britain should have helped the Americans right from the get-go, and maybe the war would have been over quicker. On the other hand, I hear today that Trump is saying that he's going to destroy all of Iran's power stations if they don't surrender within 2 days, which to my mind is a massive war crime.
And Iran have responded pretty much straight away with a statement saying, basically, go for it, and we will take out all the oil and gas fields.
Of course they will.
They've called his bluff.
They're a suicide cult. You can't negotiate with a suicide cult, and that's the massive miscalculation that Trump's made, because I think Trump's the kind of guy that genuinely believes that the world is run by 5 or 6 men and he's the top guy in the playground. He genuinely thinks that if you just kill 5, 6, 7, 8, 100 of the leaders of the Iranian regime, suddenly the whole country implodes. Well, it doesn't work that way. There's literally millions of people who support the IRGC in Iran. So, all they have to do is stay low and go to ground. I'm sure Iran has got far more weaponry than they're using just now, because every time they use it, gets destroyed. So it makes sense to just hide. Just wait it out. And then the second the Americans pull out, go nuts and fire stuff all over the place to make sure it never happens again. That would be the smart thing to do. That's exactly what they're going to do.
To be fair, mate, I think the only reason that we didn't help out, like Alan was saying, where we should have,
we don't have it.
Well, that's it, mate. And I think he's used a perfect. Everybody doesn't argue with the fact that he loves international law, and I think he's played that a blinder, and he's used that as an excuse to hide how poorly equipped we are. Because if we turn around and said, "Yep, we'll go with you," what we're going to do? Send one of Alan's kayaks with a couple of rations behind it. Like, what we're going to supply? It took us 4 weeks to get HMS Dragon off.
It had broke down less than the HMS Dragon did on the way. Have you heard about all the faults and issues they've had?
Honestly. Yeah. So personally, mate, I think he wanted to. And he's used that as an excuse. He's used international law as an excuse to hide from the world how poorly equipped we are. That's what I think personally.
Somebody's heavy breathing down the mic. Hawkins. I don't want to label anybody Hawkins or blame anybody, but it's you.
I'm holding my breath.
He's getting excited.
He's getting excited. So last thing on this before we go into the questions, because the questions are going to ask us millions of points that we'll be able to bring on this, is if they do what we think they're going to do of going, yeah, we've achieved all our objectives in Iran, so now we're going to pull everything out of there. Where does that leave us? Because the Strait of Hormuz is magically not going to be secured again. So, and we're going to still be in this crisis. I mean, what's the SHTF value of this to us in the UK? Is it oil prices? Is it shortages? What's everyone's thoughts? Where's this? What direction is this going in?
All the above for me.
Yeah.
It'll just be compounded. Everything will be compounded. Everything.
Yeah.
It'll just be a knock-on effect.
I think the larger long-term knock-on effect, the oil prices aren't likely to change that much, I don't think. I mean, it's under $100 still today. And once the straits are reopened again, which it's in the Iranian interest to do that, it will normalise again, especially seeing as so it's still only 20% of the world's oil passes through there. There will be some disruption with goods, but seeing as most of those goods are from China, and the Iranians are at bedfellows with the Chinese, we'll still receive that stuff because that's in the Chinese interest. What we will now see, though, to my mind, is a massive strengthening of China, because I think Trump has made a massive miscalculation. I think this whole thing is kind of just a play against China and recontrolling the Middle East. But the Chinese right now can just sit back, observe the American military latest weaponry, get all the analysis they need out of it, completely stay out of it entirely. We've not heard a peep from them. And then once there's a vacuum, which there inevitably will be, because the American population are generally against long wars, and Trump pulls back and pays his attention to Greenland or some other ridiculous place, the Chinese will fill the void with their massive navy to secure the straits. And then it'll be impossible for the British or the Americans or anybody else to ever take any kind of control of that strait ever again, because the Chinese will make their play. And they'll do it with Iranian backing, because Iran has no navy now. All they've got is all those little islands, which are still very strategic. I was looking at the Straits of Hormuz earlier. It's only 20 odd miles across. It's like the English Channel, but it's very shallow. And there's actually only a 2-mile gap where the ships can pass, because you need like 60 feet of draft for a lot of these ships. And it's a tiny little narrow bit, and there's all these little strategic islands that are controlled by Iran. The Chinese will step in and fund the reconstruction of Iran. That's what I think is going to happen.
The problem is none of this has actually achieved anything, really. I mean, was it really achieved? Now, Iraq was so close to developing a nuclear bomb or weapons of mass destruction, and none were found. Iran was allegedly ready to get a nuclear bomb last year, and there was a big fanfare made of flattening everything, and there's nothing left and there's no more threat. And yet, within the space of a fortnight, this weapons program came out of the ether, and it involved Israel and the US and everybody else flattening the place. So it was either wrong before the intel or it's wrong now. They can't both be right, because no matter how good they weren't developing it that quickly. So that's a lot of bollocks. So it's not achieved anything but pissing off. There's been a lot of fanfare made about not getting any support from your allies. Well, listen, see if you walk into a pub and you walk up and smack somebody in the face and your friends are just sitting supping a beer and they know fuck all about it until you've smacked somebody in the teeth, and then you go, right guys, dig in. It's a bit late at that point. I mean, I know that's simplistic, but that's pretty much what it is and where we are. And the Iranians are nuts at the best of times. In their mind, they've got an existential threat. So they're firing on every country that has got allies or American forces on their ground. So they're just smacking all the things. So none of this has actually made anything any better for anybody. It's just a big fuck up.
It might have made it marginally better for Israel. But other than that, I can't really see any great benefit to it either. Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying that Iran is 2 to 3 years away from developing a nuclear weapon for the past 40 years. I mean, that's kind of just a speaking point. And they genuinely were trying to make a nuclear weapon. There's no doubt about that. They were enriching far more uranium than they actually needed. And to my mind, there's every justification in the world for stopping that from happening, because if a country like Iran develops a nuclear weapon, they will 100% use it. And I would even advocate as far as going, we should send ground troops and everything into Iran if they ever did get close to developing a nuclear weapon. So all they're doing just now, Trump is just taking the opportunity to try and disarm as much of Iran as possible so that he can try and take ownership of the Middle East and therefore have a better strategic place against China. But it's starting to backfire, because as much as I'm very pro-American, and America really does think that they are the greatest superpower that's ever existed, which I don't know where they get that from. They're certainly the most powerful country today, but they have limitations, and they're starting to realize that now, because with very little munitions, you can pretty much straight the most strategic water area in the world, and they're seeing that 60% of all the ships that are attacked in the Straits of Hormuz have been in port, and 30% of them have been within that 100-mile boundary of Iran. 2 ships were recently attacked hundreds of miles away from the Straits of Hormuz. So there's actually a 1,000-mile corridor that is completely open to Iranian attacks. The American Navy, no matter how big they think they are, can't police that. That's why they're crying about allies sending ships now.
Fun.
I'll just say to finish off this point, Mike, I work on evidence, and there's no evidence that the Iranians can hit the UK at the moment. If you draw the line from Iran to Deo Gagasi back, it gets to Rome tops. So if they have got something in their locker, we're not being told about it.
But I mean, that's based on how far they've sent it, not how far that missile was capable of going. They were targeting Diego Garcia. That's not to say it couldn't have gone further.
I suppose, but again, it's interesting, the narrative that the press is now selling to us. A bit like Gulf War One, Saddam's got weapons of mass destruction. It turns out he hasn't. But you believed it all. You all believed it, and that's why we sent all our troops, and that's why they all died.
See, the one thing about Iraq, sorry, just to quickly interrupt, because I'll forget about this, is Iraq did have weapons of mass destruction. They used them. They used chemical weapons against the Kurds, and they did it more than once, and they killed thousands of people in the process of doing that. It wasn't nuclear weapons we were going to Iraq for.
No,
it was
absolutely.
weapons of mass destruction. So
Yeah, but the premise was that
I was a supporter of it then. I'm still technically a supporter of it now for that reason, because they're also a bit of a suicide cult, but not as bad as Iran.
the premise for going to Iraq, if you remember, is that they had a super gun that could fire shells into the UK with chemical weapons on. That's that was the whole premise for us being involved. And then Alan mentioned the size of the missiles. At the moment, the most destruction they did was, I think yesterday, they killed tens of people and injured hundreds. So that's all they've. What's this, 4,000 kilometers? Yeah. But they haven't demonstrated that yet. And then finally, I agree with what's been said earlier. I think China are just waiting. They're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and they're buying their time. They're collecting SIGINT and physical int on all of the aircraft carriers and the ships and the destroyers and all the other stuff that's going on out there. And they're working out how to defeat the Americans militarily. Iran can't defeat America militarily, so they're attacking their neighbors to put pressure on them, and then getting their neighbors to put pressure on America. And
Well,
finally, Trump.
Financial pressure by guys sabotaging the gas and oil, right?
I don't think Trump knows what he's having for lunch, let alone a strategy. There's people whispering in his ear. It's the whisperers that have got the strategy, and he's just the mouthpiece. He contradicts himself 4 times a day.
Well, we'll go to the questions, because there's lots of questions relating to this and to other things. So don't forget, your questions can be all prepper related, stuff like that. It can be related to current events. It can be related to just general prepping. Anything you want to know, please get them in. There's 300 of you in here right now, which I really appreciate. Make sure you've smashed the like button, whichever stream you're watching on. But also bear in mind, I'm finding the questions during this. So if I miss your question, I apologize. You have the option for block capitals to try and catch my attention. You have the option to use super chat on any of the channels you're watching, which helps out their channel as well as highlights it for me. Big shout out before we start to all our moderators: Miss Worm, Evil, Telderboy, anyone else who's in there. I didn't see Mel's in there, a few others that are moderating for the other channels. They will kick you out. Mel was late. Shocking.
I was late.
They will kick you out. They will silence you if you say anything that we wouldn't like or YouTube wouldn't like. We're open for debates and discussions with rational people and with rational sentences. Keep it out of the racism, anti-Semitism, anything like that, and you will be ejected permanently from all channels. Right. With that said, we've got 31 questions queued up already.
30 of them from Phil.
Yeah.
Short answers then.
What I'm going to do, guys, I'm not going to go around, because 31 questions going around the table 5 times will be here till Tuesday. I'm going to ask a question, jump in. All right? Jump in if you've got an answer, and we'll do it like that. So we'll start off with Killer 71. What do you see as the single biggest threat to a prepper 2 weeks into a terrorist-related full grid down event?
Other desperate people.
Yeah, definitely. Your neighbours, right? Your neighbours are your biggest threat because they're the closest to you in that.
Yep.
Closely followed by disease.
Yeah.
Government lockdowns. The government taking advantage of something like that to enforce whatever draconian law that they feel fit at that period of time to further restrain us. That's what I see as the biggest threat overall for something like that.
If we've got 2 weeks into a full grid down event, personal opinion, your government's gone. Because if it's down for 2 weeks, the chances of it coming back anytime soon aren't that good. In my humble opinion, they're just not that good. Because 2 weeks is a long time for your linesmen, the controllers, the police, the military to be out of comms and out of fuel to actually be at their jobs, never mind to be able to coordinate them fixing anything. So, yeah, I don't think we'd have much of a government after that. I'm with the guys on other people and sanitation after 2 weeks with no pumping and sewage backing up. Everybody else in your block, row, street is going to be your problem with the shit overflowing the paving stones.
The NHS would be in serious trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the government obviously have contingency plans in place for different situations. Do we think 2 weeks is all it's going to take before none of them plans could be implemented? Or could we just see it come back to normal after 2 or 3 weeks, do you think? Go for it, John.
Yeah, the government has plans for virtually everything. Most of them go to about the 10-day point. The one thing in my experience that is never tested is the recovery phase. Exercises are held all year round. Civil nuclear accident exercises, plane crash exercise, pile up on the motorway exercise, any exercise you want. They had a power outage exercise last year. Which was all government departments. That was quite a big one. So they exercise everything except the recovery. It's never practiced because it could be anything from 2 weeks to 20 years. So that's a massive weakness. And it's not just our government, it's every government around the world. Nobody wants to practice recovery.
You know what else, mate? They never take into effect when they're doing war games, stuff like that, mate. They never ever factor in selfishness. Never. Like so they assume, right, that the grid goes down, and what they assume is that everybody who does their job in peacetime is just going to chin their own family off and stick with the government for 2 weeks, try and help them fumble about in the fucking dark.
Yeah. New Orleans was a classic example.
Exactly, mate. It's not going to happen. No. The first thing you do is chin that off and go look after your family.
Yeah,
and that's 90% of the police.
Yeah, it's never taken into account.
In New Orleans, 90% of the police failed to report for duty when they were called because they were looking after the family. What would you do?
Yeah, it took 4 days to get water to the Superdome in New Orleans, and that's the richest, most powerful country in the world.
And FEMA's slogan is, the first 72 is on you. They make it really clear. If you look on their website, it's almost the first thing they say is, we're not coming for 72 hours. It takes that long to mobilize. At least 72 hours. So the Americans know that.
Yeah, or the UK site, which it says a few hours, a few days, a couple, or everything, obscured. So, yeah. Cheers to the question, Killer 71. Love that. Thank you very much. Alpha Romeo 09er says, do you think we're bugging out or bugging in? If out, what are you doing with your current preps? I assume most people are bug in, the majority. Yeah. I'll speak up because mine's changed recently. So I've always been bug in. If I can bug in, I will, if I think it's viable. But because of my location now, it's much more of a risk to my family to stay here. So we have developed into bug out. This is why over the last 3 weeks, I've been streamlining my preps, not just selling them on because I'm broke, streamlining, just getting rid of a lot of stuff because you accumulate a lot of things and I can only wield, one knife to do some bushcraft at a time. I don't need 10 of them kind of thing. So I've been whittling that down and I'm trying to fine tune how that's going to be packed into the car. There is some cases and boxes I want, which I've not managed to get yet. But yeah, in my the preps I'll be taking will be everything freeze dried I can manage, all the tools I can manage, and then if there's any room left, fill that space with food. The food and water will come in last, which sounds backwards, I know, for somebody who wants to prep, but food and water I can acquire. Some of the tools I've got, I'm not going to be able to acquire in SHTF. So, and they help me filter water and gather food and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll do some more videos about it soon. But yeah, I'm focusing on bugging out. Is anybody else on a bug out situation at the moment?
Opposite of last resort for me. I'm ready to bug out. I have a bug out bag. So does Mrs. Welsh Prepper. But that's if we cannot stay in our home due to fire or flood or being overrun or whatever.
The first sign of trouble, though, Alan, you're going living in the forest, right?
That's what people would imagine. All those crazy survivalists out there in the woods. All I need is a sharp knife and a very nice looking backpack and I'm away. But in reality, no, I would always bug in to the absolute, as long as possible. It makes no sense to bug out to the woods and try and survive because, spoiler alert, you could be the greatest survivalist in the world. You're not surviving comfortably in the woods with nothing. I've never really properly prepped in the sense of buying, stockpiling equipment. Although over the years, I am a little bit of a hoarder and I do have multiple versions of the stuff that I require. And 2 years ago, I converted that into caches with the idea that should I ever need to bug out, I've got a location in mind that's along what I consider to be a safe route. and each one of those caches, in theory, I could stretch for 30 days. So in theory, I could survive outdoors, outside my house, without shelter, like as in the house to go to, for 6 months. But most of that would be relying on the stuff I've squirreled away over those past 2 years and skills, which I think is the most valuable tool. You have to learn how to survive away from home, whether that be in the woods or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah. Thank you, Alpha Romeo 09er, for your question. And our first fill of the evening, we'll spread Phil out. Another Cobra meeting. What are you expecting? I'll let the guys jump in, but part of me was thinking, I mean, we usually have a Cobra meeting and Starmer comes out and has a half-hour speech and announces absolutely nothing. So that's probably what we're going to get. But part of me thinks that this could be the implementation of, if they do the speed limit changes, if they recommend working from home. That's what I think this could follow up with. Just my 2 cents. Anyone got any insights into this? John, were you in the meeting? No, I'm just joking.
Not this one.
I'm with you on that one, Mike. What do I expect out of a Cobra meeting? The same as every other one, including the scamdemic. Absolutely feck all, because they're useless and they lie. So I expect the poor person, the people on the ground, you, me, and everybody else, to get shafted. They've known for weeks there's potential problems coming. They've wrung their hands. They've done nothing else about it. Asia's a basket case with fuel. Australia's in the shitter, and everything's sunshine and lollipops here. Really? But it'll be lastminute.com as usual. And we didn't want to panic anybody, but now's the time to panic.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Wankers.
I think there'll be an element. I think there'll be 2 elements. I think the first one will be, this is what we're going to do to help you all with the massive gas bill you're going to get in June. So there'll be some sort of scheme announced where nearly nobody will qualify. And I think the second part of it will be to front load us all to say this could get really bad, and we're going to issue a leaflet, or maybe you should think about doing this, that, and the other. So it'll be a bit of front loading to prepare us for some bad news in the future, in my personal opinion.
Okay. Any additions on that one?
I've got little faith in Cobra meetings. I think they're mostly just there for platitudes and to make the government look like they're doing something. I would hope the government was having meetings every day anyway about the crises of the world. They don't have to announce they're having some stupid Cobra meeting.
I think they almost announced Cobra, so we expect some sort of statement afterwards.
Yeah.
Why else would they tell us there's a Cobra meeting?
What they do have attached to the Cobra meeting is a stack. I talked about this last time, the Science and Technical Advisory Committee. And because it's about energy this time, they will get the energy experts in, the BP, chief executive, those sorts of people. And they will be telling Starmer privately how much fuel we got left in the UK and what they're doing about it, and if we can do anything about it. So he will being briefed privately at secret and above what the situation is, and then he'll go on the telly and not tell us any of that.
Yeah, it'll all be the last government's fault. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate the question. We'll have another from Phil and then we'll move past Phil and come back to him later. Mike, are you concerned about Sunderland Football Club if World War III is declared? Of course I am. There we go. Thank you, Phil.
Don't need World War III to be declared. We're all concerned about Sunderland.
The sporting concerns are more the F1 at the moment because they're cancelling all the races in the Middle East.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And the World Cup's going to have a few teams short as well, right? Right. Grumpy Adventures. It seems to me that Iran is playing cat and mouse with the USA because the Yanks and Israel are hitting them with a massive bombardment and say we've destroyed everything, and then Iran keeps coming back. I'm not sure that's a question. Yes. It's a statement of fact rather than a question. Please don't put Q at the start if it's not a question. English Prepper. I started a TikTok channel recently. What is with all the hate towards preppers? It's mental. Normalcy bias. Normalcy bias. We've had our share of trolls between us. I've had death threats to me
Yep.
and my family on emails, which the guys have seen in the leadership team and stuff. Yeah, it's for no reason other than, I'd like to explain it, but can you explain it, Brian? Normalcy bias is the only thing I can say.
It's fear. It's purely fear, in my opinion. If we are nuts, right, there's obviously something wrong with us, because if there's nothing wrong with us, they're not doing the right thing. So they're confident they're in the right. Not that there's right and wrong, right? It's a common sense exercise, but they know 100% they've got to be right. Otherwise, they should be doing something. They're not doing anything. So you're fucking nuts. Like, you're crazy. There was one today it was on Facebook, one of the groups, and I'd seen it. And I was arguing with her before I realised she was an arsehole. And she came out with this pish about somebody had a garage, so they had things in it. They were entitled. I'm going, how are they entitled? Well, somebody lives in a flat or an apartment, they can't have as much, so they're entitled. This is the shit you've got to deal with. That is the attitude. So if you've got a 3-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house or a garage, then you're entitled because you can have more things in it apparently. So that is the mindset you're dealing with. Arseholes.
Yeah, there's preppers that live in 1-bedroom bedsits. There's preppers.
We've got loads of them.
In small accommodations, and there's no excuse for that whatsoever. Nothing to add on that. They're just nuts. And all I'll say, English prepper, is we've all had it.
Mm-hmm.
It can affect you sometimes, especially when it's like as graphic violence threats and stuff like that. You've just got to do the self-assessment that we did. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And we decided that putting our faces out there, spreading the word of prepping was more important than a couple of idiots threatening you. So yeah, just try and take it with a pinch of salt. Just doubled up that question. There we go. South Downs prepper, essential survival gear. First thing to have your mind in the right place and see the reality for what it is. It's not a question, but yes.
That goes back to last week, mate, when I said we're all preppers at the current moment, and then as soon as it transcends into the side of it, then you need to start thinking like Alan, and you're not like in this. That's what your mindset has to shift. Once HTF happens, you're not a prepper anymore because you're not prepping.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening right now. You can prepare for a flood up until the point the water's hitting your door. Then you're not preparing for it anymore. You're dealing with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in a constant state of survival, it's because something is terribly wrong. We're not supposed to be in a continuous state of survival. Just getting
you're
by.
married.
Yeah. Well,
That is a state of survival.
As a survivalist, I purposely never got married for that very reason. But it's one of those things where you should try and put yourself in the most comfortable position possible, but prepare yourself for the most uncomfortable position possible and understand exactly what it is you need in order to survive that period of time and for how long. And there is something of a statement of fact to say that probably, I would say, if I was going to put a number on it, 80% of survival is psychological, and the rest of it is made up of skills and luck. Very, very small amount of it's made up of gear.
If it's
Can I tell my wife, Alan?
Screwed.
Sorry, Mike.
If it's based on luck, I'm screwed.
Alan, can I tell my wife that if it's to be the place that you're going to be really comfortable, but also could be slightly uncomfortable, after prepping the strippers? Because that sounds like what you're telling me here.
As somebody
I like your thinking.
As somebody who studied the subject extensively, I say yes. Strippers, that is, not survival.
Excellent. There we go. Thoughts on the crossbow ban? Okay, so it's not a ban as such. I think they want to license it. I think that's already in place in Scotland, so it's not much changed as far as they're concerned. That you already have to have a license, right?
Air rifles in Scotland.
Air rifles.
Not crossbows.
Oh,
not
so
crossbows.
it'll follow the suit of the air rifles then, basically, as like what you've done there.
Depends if they do what they say they're going to do. At the moment, they said they're going to ban sales of new ones and license the old ones in circulation. Now, that's what they say after a suitable consultation period. Who knows? I don't see that as being workable, because what they're saying is they're going to bring a licensing scheme for people that have got a crossbow, which would be hundreds of thousands, but they can't sell any more. That makes absolutely no sense, absolutely none. If you're going to have a licensing scheme, then surely you should be able to buy new ones, because it would be covered by the same licensing scheme. Otherwise, if you were worried about them being in circulation, then it would be a total ban. So it's either a total ban or it's a licensing scheme, and a licensing scheme should not prohibit new ones being in circulation if you're confident a licensing scheme is going to solve any perceived problems. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes about as much sense as this government does with everything, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to do it both ways. For me, it's just another step to disarming the nation, right? It's a sport at the end of the day. All right. I could do some damage with an American football if I threw it hard enough at your face. Does that mean if there's more than 3 tragic deaths in football over the space of 10 years, we can ban football for that reason?
Do you know,
it's illogical, and it's the illusion of we're doing something. It's like banning zombie knives when most knife crime's done with kitchen knives. It's a pointless fucking exercise, which has pissed me off. Sorry, go on, Alan.
I was just going to say, I actually tried to pull some figures about how many murders there's actually taken place, or deaths with a crossbow. They don't really keep figures properly like that, so it's a little bit vague. But according to what I could find online, between 5 and 12 people have died deliberately by you having a crossbow as a weapon. So let's say 12 people at the upper end have died, and that's in the past 10 years. Okay, but then if we look at vehicles, deliberately or intentional, 20, poison, 100, firearms, 350, strangulation, 500 people, blunt force or physical trauma, 1,400 people, knives, it's complicated, but it's somewhere estimated between 2,200 and 2,500. So it's got a ban on crossbows has got nothing to do with public safety. It's entirely to do with control. What they're
headlines.
It's headlines. It's been seen to do something. It's a draconian act on having a lawful legal thing to have. And I actually find it insulting because they're using everybody knows where this came from. It came from that guy, that crazy nutter Kyle or whatever his name was, who killed I think 3 people. And he used a crossbow to do it. But the sad thing is, those murders would have taken place whether crossbows were banned or not, because the details of that case was the guy who was a jealous boyfriend went to his ex-girlfriend's house, forced his way in, and kidnapped basically the whole occupants, tied them to chairs, raped one of them, and then killed them with a crossbow. Are you telling me if crossbows were banned, he wouldn't have did any of that? No, he would have just used a knife or a hammer or a vase or anything else to hand, because he was a psychopath. And it doesn't matter what tool he used to do the ultimate act. If anything, a crossbow's actually not a very efficient weapon, to be honest. I mean, take the movies aside, it's actually slow, hard to use, vulnerable. I don't own a crossbow. I've never owned a crossbow. I don't see the point of one, to be honest, but I see the point of people having the right to be able to have something like that if that's what they want. Because after this, it'll be bows and arrows next. It'll be knife and forks. I mean, who knows?
Those dangerous wooden spoons.
Google says that all mass shootings in Britain involve legally owned firearms, and since stats began, 346 shotguns have been criminally used and 76 rifles, and they're all legally owned.
There you go. It's a pointless exercise. I think we could all safely say we don't agree with it, because it's just, even if you have a crossbow or not, we don't agree with it because it's just another right taken away from us. So there we go. Apart from food and water, what would be your top 5 items to stock up on? Top 5. Oh, that might take a while. Top 2. We'll do top 2 for you, Yellow Teapot. Between 6 of us, that should be enough.
Petrol at the moment, mate. Petrol at the moment.
Petrol at the moment, yeah.
Well, could be, yeah. I mean, so we'll go around the table with this one because it's that type of question. Andy, your top 2 things that you would stock up on apart from food and water?
Power banks and solar panels.
Good
I
shout.
like him. You're a good guy. That's a good answer.
If you look, you can see Brian's hand controlling Andy. He's like,
To be fair, mate, if you come in here, you wouldn't be far wrong.
He just did that, so now
there's
Brian.
a fucking Delta 3 under the table. There's an AC 300 over there.
I can't talk. I can't talk. There's a Renology solar panel right next to me because of Brian.
Now Brian has to say something different. You know, that's why
Yeah,
Andy
that's
did
it. Yeah, all have to be different. I forgot to
Well, I'll
mention
tell you what you could say, Brian. You could say Miss Worm's book that you've read 3 times from front to back. You could go
It's
with
probably about 6 times, mate, to be honest, if now I think about it.
He only because he got the picture version. Anyway, John, top two items apart from food and water.
What I've actually been stocking up on is petrol. I need now
Caviar.
some diesel and caviar. Yeah, no champagne, darling, champagne. No, heat source. Brian would be very pleased with me. I received 2 diesel heaters today because I bought one and thought, just buy another one because I got 100% redundancy then. So they are in the box. They're in the box ready to be deployed because I think my weakness, but I used to have a house with wood burners in it. I now got a house with open fire. I'm going to a house that's got no means of combusting wood. So I need heat sources. So I'm getting candles and diesel heaters.
Excellent. Candles and diesel heaters. Alan, you need to stock up on food and water because you're not a prepper, but other than that...
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a hard question for me because I don't really stock up on things. I mean, I am buying more diesel or petrol than I would normally, purely because of the crisis that's going on. The only thing I can think of that I've recently looked at as I can't even think of anything. I mean, I bought a book recently from Cody Lundane. I very rarely buy survival books these days because they all basically look like each other, but his book is actually one worth reading, I think. And clothing is the other thing as well. If you don't have adequate clothing to see yourself through a winter's week in the UK, I recommend you go and buy that stuff or stock up on that because you can have all the power banks and all the food and water you want, but you know, if you're outside your house and you find yourself in a pair of trainers and trackies, you're going to wish you had some better clothing.
Stay in the house with a power bank.
The Iranians will have hit that with their one missile.
Miss Worm said, doesn't some organisation want to ban all knives with points? I would not surprise me. Brian, 2 things to stock up on apart from food and water.
I'll take that question as 2 things to stock up on out the ordinary, as in right now. So other than specific normal preps, I've specifically topped up on fuels, petrol and diesel. So that's basically it. At this moment in time, it'll be fuel sources as my top 2 preps. So whatever ones you want to add into that, gas canisters, diesel, petrol, all of that good stuff, I have stocked up on, and I will be stocking up more on payday and Wednesday to the maximum legal limit.
So I'll be getting some more of them little gas canisters.
30 litres, 30 litres, absolutely.
Yeah. We believe you.
Yes, 30 litres only.
He says, as a mushroom cloud appears in his back garden. Hawkins, 2 things you're stocking up on apart from food and water.
Do you know what? I haven't stocked up on anything. And I don't know, maybe making me question myself now. Probably just going to try and do what Miss Worm was kind of showing in the Discord earlier of products that were derived from petrochemicals and just go through them. So mainly cleaning sorts of products and things like that. I get paid next week, same as Brian, so I'll probably just do a bit of a top up on that. But pretty good at keeping all that sort of stuff in rotation, but I'll probably just brim it to the cupboards are full, to be honest. And then just everything else that makes sense. Fuel in it. It's what gets me is, say in the next 48 hours, if Trump does what he says he was going to do and Iran say what they're going to do, the interesting thing is just going to be next winter for us guys, because cost alone is going to cause people to die of freezing to death in their houses. So it doesn't matter what you're going to store away now; it isn't going to last you through an entire winter. So,
to be fair though, Mike, house prices will plummet. She might be able to buy somewhere in Scotland for pretty cheap.
Yeah.
yeah, some old deer died there a week earlier, froze to death.
Yeah,
do you know what I find ironic?
They'll soon empty out, won't they?
I think it's ironic that they say, or they were talking about telling people to use electric cooking methods to cook their food going forward to save on gas. Given that on average 40% of UK generation comes from gas, I can't help but feel that's a bit of a fucking headshot.
It's telling everybody to turn on their electric cookers at 5 o'clock while Coronation Street is on and boiling the kettle all at the same time. Not a recipe for a bigger disaster.
Could go wrong.
Just like an interesting link for the chat. So, like, we've been doing these how long? Well, how long have I been doing these with you? Over a year now, maybe?
About a year, just over, yeah.
And I've always said, haven't I, like, family members have always said, not that they think I'm a nutter, but they've always thought it's rubbish what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, the other half was down visiting them, and all of them said, if anything happens, we're just going to come to yours. Now, that's a shift in mindset from going, well, I told her, tell them they're not fucking getting in. Fuck yeah. I just thought it's a
tiger and the flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought, what a shift in mindset, mate, from going from it's stupid and think I'm a bit of a nutter to all this is happening. They've now started thinking, oh, we'll just go to your house.
You best hope you don't start taking prepping seriously and listen to this podcast, because then they'll be like, Jesus, we've let that marry our daughter.
I'm not married, mate.
Not yet. So yeah, for me, I'll step differently, because obviously I said I got the solar panel and stuff like that, but seeds and soil, fertilizers and stuff are short supply, but you can still go and get bags of fertilizer and stuff for commercial use from Lidl at the moment. So I've started getting some of that, building my seed bank up, and it's just it's not a case.
The last thing you need is a good seed bank.
There's something about seed
It's one thing you don't need.
Honestly, I can't say nothing, can I? Can't say nothing. No, but I've built out one planter. I've got a couple of pots lined up as well. Started getting my green fingers going, sort of thing. If nothing else, if there's no collapse, it's going to save me some money. If I can make one Sunday lunch a month out of the stuff I've grown in the garden, it's still going to save me a bit of money. So I figured everything else, I literally have no room left in my pantry, so I'm going to start growing stuff now. So yeah, that's where I'm going. Thank you for the question, Yellow Teapot. Sorry we didn't.
With your luck, it's going to be like Day of the Triffids then. Mike's garden will be these things coming out the garden, killing people, these horrible plants.
It'd be like Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah.
Don't plant Japanese knotweed.
I'm not. I know. I've dealt with it.
I know Mike's very tasty.
Of course you have. Of course you've dealt with it.
It grows in abundance. Japanese knotweed. Mike, grow it. It's great. Really tasty.
Yeah. It grows underground as well. Right. Wheeled Medic. The IRGC have now proved range capability for London and East Midlands. With this said, should Starmer send our UK forces on the offensive rather than defensive?
But they haven't.
Forces.
We have nothing to send.
Yeah,
we have nothing to send, mate. So
I mean, it's a joke what we've sent already, right? The fact what's happened with that dragon, broken down 3 times, mechanical faults, electrical faults, stuff like that.
There's absolutely nobody to send, mate, or anything to send.
Yeah,
like I say, like last time he said that we would. The last time he mentioned putting British troops on the ground in Ukraine as a peacekeeping force, the head of the chief staff mate came out, defence staff, and said all we could afford to send would be a battalion of blokes, which is on average 750 blokes. That's all we could send anyway. So do you know what I mean? Like what's he sending?
Should we be making a mass attempt to buy missile defense now from like the States or something like that? And if we did, Andy, are enough people trained in it?
Well, like Horton said, mate, it's even if you ask now, you'd be what 4 or 5 years down the pipeline to receive anything.
Yeah.
You're kind of between a rock and a hard place now, but you've left it too long.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we could send is a strongly worded letter.
Send the House of Commons and never done it.
We can
Very
send the HMS
effective.
Victory. That'll be a statement.
At least it wouldn't show up on the radar.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Right. Okay. I think that's answered that question. Well, there's nothing to send there, Wheeled Medic, but thank you for your question. Shall I fill my heating oil up full or half or weight?
If you can afford it, full.
Yeah, it's only got the price is only going to go up. We can't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it down any. So you're saving money because it's a consumable. You're using the fuel anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the UAE have given their assessment of the attack, and they've said that LNG won't be back up to full production for 5 years, and they've invoked force majeure on the long-term contracts with about 5 countries, including China.
Italy is one of them as well.
Italy, yeah. So basically, all of those countries are now having to go into the open market to get LNG. So there's, as I said the other day, 100% of the countries are now chasing 80% of the available fuel that there was 3 weeks ago. So it's going to rocket.
It might be worth starting to now change the way that you use fuel, especially if you rely on liquid fuels to, your house. We talked about rural areas and stuff last time. If you rely on that stuff now, then maybe you should start rethinking and rationing some of your own fuel stocks as much as possible. I've actually started doing that slightly just now, even just, I plan trips all the time, and I've actually been recently planning trips more local, purely because I kind of just don't want to drive for hours at a time because it's a waste of fuel money. But to me, that's just also a waste of fuel. So that's a change in my behavior that's just kind of naturally occurred.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, somebody has just, I'll skip ahead for a quick second because it's based on that. Somebody just said, Mildot said, Andy, are y'all rationing already? You did say, Andy, that you would be to the extreme of these things.
Yeah, I am. I've already started.
Yeah.
With certain things, certain things where I'd be more inclined, not to blast through. That's wrong. Do you know what I mean? But things that I'll be like, oh, that'll be okay. I'll just place that next week. Things like that have started to change and have started to shift.
Yeah, changing your mindset already, kind of thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I bought forward the purchasing of the heaters just in case the supply chain didn't get them in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah,
Chuck Norris.
I heard Chuck Norris faked his death so he could get over on the quiet and wipe them out. That's the only reason people are trying to attack America now, because their first line of defense, Chuck Norris, is gone. That's. Thank you for the question, Learner Prepper. Hopefully that helped. Can the rockets reach Birmingham? We can only hope. No, I'm joking.
I hope not. I'm getting down there on Tuesday.
Wow, what have you done wrong?
Head office, mate.
Oh, God.
There isn't one UK intelligence report that says an Iranian missile could reach the UK.
Yeah,
but the unofficial reports say they can hit the East Midlands, so probably it's not Birmingham anyway, because it's further west of central kind of thing. So
if it's an IRBM intermediate range ballistic missile, the upper limit of that is 5,500 kilometers. So however far that would get you from Iran to wherever the range of that would be in England, that's what you work on if they've got one.
That's pretty much that hits us. So just watch the skies for cigar tubes. Let's have a Phil question.
That was a John question then.
I know he'll be next. I'm just trying to keep injecting Phil.
I'm just going to draw a 5,500 mile line from Iran to the UK.
All right. Go for it. Are you concerned that as wars and conflict heat up, the message has been prepare for war, that then they encourage de-arming the UK, Canada with guns and crossbows restrictions? Yeah, I mean, it does feel like a backward step when you're talking about a wartime footing, right?
The problem with the premise is that any of these items that are for sporting purposes a valid reason for ownership is never self-defense in the UK. So you couldn't even use that as an excuse for owning it in the first place. I know that will sound nuts to our American friends that are watching, but if you have a firearm in the UK, if you said your reason for owning it was for self-defense or home defense, you will never own one. And if you had a crossbow and you held it and used it in self-defense and you told the police that that was why you bought it and then you shot somebody with it, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I just throw kids at them.
If the people of Iran don't rise up and take control of their country from the Iranian regime, the number one reason for that will be because they weren't armed. And countries like the UK will rejoice in that fact and push even harder, because that's the ideology that our culture has. Very, very much the opposite in America, obviously, with the Second Amendment, but we don't live in America.
Yeah. Not much more to add. I think we all think it's ridiculous, stupid, and pointless. But guess what? This is the 1984 we're moving towards. Question from Kane. John, any intel why the past week there's been some big planes taking off from the valley heading east?
All that champagne and caviar has to get delivered somehow, Kane.
Yeah, and those trucks just can't deliver in big enough quantities, honestly. There is a big NATO exercise up in the north of Scotland, so it's likely that Valley is being used as sort of a pretend forward operation base. There was also some Eastern European aircraft over the northeast the other day, over the northeast Scotland, in doing what they call 2-on-1 dogfights. So yeah, there's a NATO exercise on at the moment. Valley, the big planes could be anything, but it's not. You're not talking about your B-52s or anything like that. The big planes are probably A400Ms or C-130s from another nation, because Valley's runway is not long enough to take the really big ones, so they've got a Fairford.
There you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate the intel there. Defiant Fox, we have radar and Culdros on the south coast. They have aircraft. We're not defenseless. We can handle one or two, but not a barrage, says Defiant Fox.
Yeah, again, if Italy don't help us out, if Germany don't help us out, if France don't help us out, if Spain don't help us out, if the Netherlands don't help us out, we'll shoot it down ourselves. We got enough time to get a couple of F-35s airborne with air-to-air missiles, and they'd probably, I don't know, fall over France somewhere. That'd be the problem, shooting them down. Where does it land?
Yeah.
Oh no, that would be terrible.
See the kind of missiles. The kind of missiles that people are talking about reaching the UK. Andy or John will know this more than me, but from what I understand, those are not like the kind you can intercept with an aircraft, because they're atmospheric. So they go all the way up kind of into the atmosphere and then come straight down. And you're not intercepting that with a plane. It needs to be another missile that intercepts that, which is why ICBMs are so difficult to take down. I might be wrong with that, but
the phrase that's used is shooting a bullet with a bullet.
Yeah.
So I've just done a bit of research on Google. The Iranians claim that the missile they fired to Diego Garcia was a 2-stage ICBM with a range of 4,000 kilometers.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do map measure on Google now. I'll get back to you in a minute.
And they can't be shot down by aircraft. That's not how ICBMs work, because they come straight down from the atmosphere, which would make sense because they said they fired 2 and 1 broke up in the atmosphere. Obviously failed.
Yeah.
I believe there's zero sleep though of an Iranian missile hitting me on the head.
Yeah, which is why obviously you can track it. Like they say, they could track it and watch it all the way in, but they won't be able to do anything with it.
Yeah,
just watch it hit us.
It'll be the best live stream we've ever done, though, Andy.
I mean, the speed of it hitting would be astronomical if it was coming. The terminal velocity of something like that would be massive.
Yeah.
Anybody remember when the Russians and Ukraine showed that show of force by launching that ICBM thing that it wasn't nuclear armed, but they launched
the Orshkick thing,
and it looked like bloody lightning hitting the ground. It was incredible, but you can't shoot that down with aircraft. It's not like a Tomahawk that sort of drifts along like an unmanned sort of drone.
So when the missile systems bit that America have got to intercept like an ICBM coming in, it's kind of like, the best way to describe it is a missile version of a shotgun, if that makes sense. So what they do is that they fire like 30 missiles at one missile in the hopes that one of them takes it out. That's what they do effectively.
Wow.
So like
that's a lot of.
It's like a 60% chance. I don't think it's even 60. It's like a 55%. It's like flipping a coin, really. There's a film out about it. The film came out recently, didn't it? House of Dynamite.
House of Dynamite. Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
Really good.
That's good, mate. But effectively, mate, that's what they do. They fire a volley of missiles at it in the hopes that one of them hits.
Folks shouldn't worry about it because no matter if it's targeted in London, Scotland, or whatever, it will bypass every prepper in the country and hit Mike. We're all fine. He's fucked.
Brilliant.
Right, so I've done some very crude measurements on Google Maps map measure. If they fired it from the western extent of Iran, 4,000 Ks would just about reach a line from the Wash down to London.
Sound.
That's all right. It's on too, like I said.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're not worried.
So we'll get Miss Web in France.
Other than proving a point, though, there's no military reason for doing that. There's no tactical benefit.
So who I can't remember, mate, whether I saw this on Discord today. It might have been you, Hawkins, who put it up, or I saw it somewhere else. That the Iranians, when Trump said he was going to hit their, no, it wasn't that, but it was the Iranians who said that they had EMPs ready to go, and that's what they're going to start hitting people with. And I can't remember where I saw that now.
That was on Discord. Yeah, that was on Discord. Somebody put it on there. I'm not sure what the original source was, but yeah, basically said they had the ability to knock out all electric. They didn't use the words EMP, but they had weapons that could do that. Was the kind of the wording of it. So, but I mean, how much is real? You don't know this stuff now, do you? No. You know. Because we have US Air Force bases in the UK, would they have some missile protection for their bases?
That's a good question, actually. That is a very good question.
I doubt it. Not in the UK anyway. Maybe abroad.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, maybe if there was like a base that was jointly run by the UK and the US abroad, it might have, but definitely not in the UK.
I've never ever seen it, mate, in the UK.
No, bye.
Well, there you go. They've got bowling alleys though at some of their bases, just so people know.
So it's all good news.
There might be
a bowling alley and a laser show with it is great.
I mean, there might be. We always talk about like Type 45s being Britain's only sort of defense system from missiles, but there are.
Got Sky Saber.
There are American ships that visit the UK and other NATO ships and that have capabilities. So in theory, from a NATO point of view, those are other lines of defense as well. I would have thought.
Yeah. Didn't the Royal Navy have some sort of frigate sat in the Thames during the Olympics, London Olympics, giving air defence cover?
I don't know. The UK does have Sky Saber still. We've got Sky Saber batteries, but not that many. I think it's about 9 or something. Could be wrong in the number. I'm sure it's about 9.
Yeah, we only have the minimal amount of missiles on hand as well for it to be operational. Because we give the rest to Ukraine. Because we give the rest to Ukraine.
Get goalkeeper on the case. It will shoot it down about 8 feet before it impacts. That'd be perfect.
Wow. How independent is your country? Yeah.
Not as independent as we want to be. Those English bastards keep coming in trying to get rid of our language, and they take all our women and all our water and all our land.
You know what it is, John? You are the most English-sounding man I've ever heard in my life.
I got sent off to boarding school.
You are like Queen English, and you're giving it large look at English.
I got sent off to boarding school when I was 14 and spent 20 years in the Air Force. So yeah,
it's all right, Andy. He's come to the Scottish meet. We can get our own back.
We'll sort that
out. Do you think that they will escalate properly within 48 hours as per Trump threat, or that he may/they may back down? Back down, I don't think is in his vocabulary.
I think
but he keeps changing.
Yeah, he's Taco, isn't he?
You don't know what he's going to do. He keeps changing every day. And then he lies about it. It's just, no, I never said that. It's fake news. No. I never said I was going to bomb them all. That was, where do you work for? Fox? Assholes. Get him off. Is anybody
else disappointed in him? Like, I was kind of hoping that getting rid of Sleepy Joe and bringing Trump back in was going to be a good thing. And he
It
campaigned, didn't he,
was a
on that
good
he was
thing.
going to end all wars. But at the moment, I was sitting there thinking, he's let me down.
It's a
Not
good
that I
thing.
voted,
It's a
'cause I
good
can't,
thing
but-
if you live in America. If you live anywhere else in the world, he's fucked us. But I mean,
Well,
I don't know how to say that politely.
He's still going to drive prices up in America, though, isn't he? It's not like they're going to be immune from
To
it.
be fair, mate, the biggest thing that's impacted him, in my view, because obviously all my stuff's tailored for the military, isn't it? Losing General Mattis as defense secretary is what screwed him. He was the one who kept him in check for his first term.
He's got a Secretary of War now instead.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And there was 2 or 3 things where he said it was going to happen, and General Mattis said, "No, it's not. That's not happening." Blank out refused, and he cowed to him, and he listened to him. And now General Mattis is gone. Now you've got fucking Hexeth in, who spends £20 million on fucking lobster. So I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, I'm not like a huge
Week
fan.
supply for John.
Like,
Sorry,
see
Andy.
We enjoyed that lobster. It was delicious.
Sorry, Andy. Go ahead.
the methods Trump is using are kind of not very good. You know what I mean? But if Trump wasn't in power, let's say it was, like the Democrats that were still in power.
Kamala Harris.
Would the world be any better today? No, Iran would still be developing a nuclear weapon, and in fact, America would be giving them money for some reason, because that's what Obama did. So it's hard to say how things could have been when it hasn't happened. But I don't think the world would have been better with Kamala Harris. I think it would have been worse. I think Trump's just a bit of a buffoon and I don't think he's playing 4D chess. I think he literally is just kind of just off the cuff saying what he thinks on the day and then trying to make the world agree with him. And he's been hit with reality now. He's been hit with the reality of American military capabilities just now. For as good as they are and as great as the American military is, it has limitations. And he's starting to realize that now. He was probably, riled up with the nice quick thing that he did in South America, and he thought he could do some. He probably off the back of that high, he believed, I'll just do the same thing in Iran, and then after the aim I'll move on to Cuba, and then after the aim I'll move on to North Korea. That's probably the way he was thinking that day. But Iran's a bigger, more powerful country.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, do we think it's going to escalate then? I mean, what's the summary of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's put it this way. I've got a 120 litre fuel tank that I bought off eBay ages ago, and that'll be going into my work vehicle this week. And if I'm away, and I anticipate happening, I'll be filling that 120 litres up, and screw the bloody laws about filling a 20 litre can up.
He says confidently with his camera turned off.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
At the start of this conflict, we thought it would be over and hoped in a couple of weeks. There's nothing to indicate it's going to go anything other than bad and escalate. So it's going to escalate, mate.
Listen, we're just answering your questions. We're not here to fearmonger in any way. We advocate just being as prepared as you possibly can. So please don't forget, you can ask questions about prepping as well, not all about military. But, isn't Iran attacking neighboring countries' civilian infrastructures a war crime too?
Yes.
Yeah, John?
Yes, except that there's 3 countries that haven't signed up to the ICC: USA, Israel, and Iran. Of this current set of protagonists. So yes,
nobody's
it's
doing
a war
anything wrong
crime.
then.
It'll be recognised as a war crime. They'll issue token arrest warrants, which might affect some of them travelling somewhere. But they just Israel seems to have had a free pass, so they're getting away with it. But yes, it's a war crime to attack civilian infrastructure. Yeah,
there you go. So, but who's going to win? Who's going to go and put the cuffs on? And who do you put the cuffs on?
Is there not a caveat to that though? If civilian infrastructure has been repurposed,
yes, there is. Yes.
So that's another way, mate. People get around it. So
but it's a grey area.
Exactly, but people use it, don't they?
Yeah.
So if a power station is supplying an army base, you can blow
exactly,
the power station up.
Yeah, that would be the grey area.
Israel have used this as a get-out clause with Hamas, because Hamas used to put their command headquarters in the basements of hospitals. and Israel started attacking hospitals, and they said, well, they've repurposed it, so it's now a legitimate target.
Yeah.
Which is true. That is the case. I remember looking into that at the time. If you put military infrastructure inside the hospital then becomes a target. Legitimately. It's not a war crime.
Yeah.
Well, you know. Questions: if Iran attacks the UK, would that mean World War III? I mean, the question is probably more, what is World War III? Are we not already in it? Is there not enough conflicts and actors at the state at the moment that we are already in World War III?
Do you know, I was watching Sky News earlier.
It's a good
with
question.
Rory Stewart actually ended his interview by saying the conflict could progress into World War III. And I keep asking the question, World War III with who? How can explain to me what World War III is from an Iranian point of view or from our point of view? Because to me, I mean, the whole world can be in conflict, kind of like a Cold War or with proxy wars, which is what I think's happening just now. But World War III would be proper superpowers fighting with each other, yeah? So it would have to be China attacking America or Russia attacking us or America. Or it has to be the powers of the world, the big powers of the world having a hot conflict with each other, not a proxy war. That's a World War III. How's that going to happen? I just don't see the mechanism for that.
I mean, you've got to throw out the template of traditional war these days, I would say. And if you don't look at Iran as a country that's trying to go to war or causing a conflict, if you then look at the Islamic Republic, is who we're at war with, and they have people all over the world that could cause havoc, and they are funding terrorism, which funding terrorism is a way of wording they've got other militaries in other countries, right?
Yeah.
So the World War is not necessarily against a country like Germany, expansionism, World War II. It's against an ideology which we know is a struggle to fight against anyway. And I think that is where we kind of teeter on the edge of what we would class as a world war. Whether China take advantage and go for Taiwan and open up a front there, whether Russia push even heavier onto Ukraine because all the European assets are committed elsewhere and open up a front there, that's irrelevant. Like you say, it's separate fronts, it's separate conflicts as such. But a world war is a common enemy. And I think the common enemy here is not Iran as a country, it's the ideology that runs it, which is embedded into a lot of countries, whether we like it or not.
I mean, there's definitely a global political thing going on. You could very easily group all the countries in the world into like a team. So you could say, the NATO countries on one side, let's call them, the blue team, and then the red team would be like China and Russia and all of their allies. Yeah. I mean, that's the way people like to do it. And then you would have the neutral people, sort of like the Indias of the world and stuff, kind of playing both sides. But until they're actually all properly in a hot conflict with each other, like a kinetic war, to me, my definition is that's not a war. That's a Cold War with hot points.
Can I spin it round?
Well, I'll just say before you do, Brian, I think World War III will never be able to say this is World War III. We will know about it 10 years after it's finished, and we'll talk about it as World War III. That's what I would say. But go on, Brian.
I think your point right at the start of this thread of conversation was well made, in as much as are we not in World War III? I think we are, and I'll tell you why. You've got three major world powers, if you like, on the stage. You've got Russia, you've got China, and you've got the US. Two of those are fighting a conventional war right now. Two out of three. And then you've got all the middle and smaller powers all either fighting directly or defending directly or supporting directly. So by any stretch of the imagination, if you've got Russia in a hot war fighting in our country for 4+ years, you've got the US who's fighting with everybody at the moment for the last 6 months, right? You've got Venezuela, now you've got a major shooting war in Iran, which has got no signs of stopping. Then surely that is a world war. It's all over the world. The whole world's in fire. Just a thought.
Yeah. Anyone got any additions to the World War III conversation?
I think the World War III basis will be economic. Like this war is, it's economic. It's not we're not getting directly attacked, but our economy is going to go down the tubes because of as a consequence of what's happening. If China blockade Taiwan, that's how many 90% of electronic chips are made in Taiwan? Is it some huge proportion? So that's economic, and it will get to this point where someone decides, one of the major superpowers decides that they can't cope with the economic stresses they're under and go into a hot war. I'd just like to say I don't think Russia is guaranteed to back China. They're not friends.
That's true. They're not friends. Like I watch China. I'm interested in China, so I pay a lot of attention to what's in their interest. And the Russians to them are they're not even close. They actually have their own conflict going on. The northern there's a triangle area that they dispute, and that might even turn into a hot conflict at some point, which is interesting.
Yeah, that was a war in the 1800s that Russia won. Russia versus China. Russia won, and they took a load of land in the north of China as a reparation for the battle.
Yeah, I don't even really consider Russia to be a power in the world. I mean, it's got lots of nuclear weapons, but it's more of a regional power than anything else. It's not the Soviet Union. It hasn't got that kind of power. I mean, look what it's doing in Ukraine. I mean, if that's all it can muster, then I don't think the rest of
and that's max effort.
Yeah. I think it's collective groups of countries that are the problem now. It used to be the case that single countries like Germany could kind of take on the world. Nowadays, you have to be a big group. You know, it has to be all of Europe. It can't be just one country in Europe. It has to be Europe itself. China isn't large enough to be by itself, but even that needs, it needs those allies in and around about it.
To be fair, mate, I think what makes you superpower now is having conviction and being willing to follow through with what you want to do. So in terms of, I think, therefore in my definition of the word, Russia is, we are, yeah. So Russia's a superpower in that sense because he invaded Ukraine, does what he wants. Same as so that's why my definition is different, because I would claim to the UK and most countries in Europe have no conviction in what they want to do.
No,
they just look at each other.
Yeah.
Which is why NATO mate's dead. I've been saying that for months, haven't I? NATO's been dead for the past 2 decades. It's just a bluff, a major bluff.
I'm sick of hearing the words coalition of the willing. It just sounds like the committee for doing fuck all.
When no one's willing.
Yeah. Great.
Sounds like a swingers party.
It does, yeah. Great Galar sent a £5 super chat. Thank you very much. Shall we all just go to the Winchester for a pint? And wait for it all to blow over.
As long as you bring some of those pies from the prepper meat.
Yeah, bring the pies.
Good.
Bring the pies, Gala. Bring the pies. Thank you very much. And TAC Group became a new member of my channel. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I just put a note in for the mods. We're going to have to stop questions coming in, guys, at the moment, unless it's a super chat, because we have 45 questions still to go. We'll try and rattle through as many as we can. Do you think something in London could go bang a false flag event? I mean, never rule it out, right? But I would like to say that, we have a good handle on keeping an eye on cells that we know about, terrorist cells and stuff like that. But false flag event, I don't doubt that for our own country. Anyone got any input on this one?
I don't know about a false flag, but I think when you've got a finite amount of resources, try to watch airports and ports for people coming into the country legally who might be a bit naughty, and then we throw all that shit out the window and you're letting in 50,000 plus a year who you've got no idea what their documentation is. I don't think it's out with the realms of possibility. I think 1 or 2 of those little urchins who've already broken the law to get here might be somebody that we don't actually want here. So I'm not convinced we're not going to have something bad going wrong.
And add to that caveat, if they do start attacking desalination plants and stuff like that, then we're going to have more refugees needing refuge spreading across
millions all over the world.
Well, we had an Iranian and someone else, I don't know what
Fast lane
from, attempt to break into fast lane. What was that, yesterday or was that today?
Friday, mate.
Yes, yeah, Friday. That was it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just eco warriors or something, but it's very interesting, their nationalities. I think it was a man and a woman. One was Iranian. I don't know what the woman was.
They tried to bluff it through the front gate.
Yeah,
Which
false credentials. Yeah,
that's worked before. That's actually worked before. There's a famous photograph of a reporter who bluffed his way into Fastlane. And he took a photograph of himself in the operations room, standing there like this. You know what I mean?
Madness,
So,
absolute madness.
You'd think that would be the most protected place on bloody earth, or definitely in the UK. It's like Britain's Area 51, and you can kind of just bluff your way through.
I've worked in there before for another company, and the security wasn't that great at that time. I would like to think 15 years later it's got better given the circumstances. Obviously, it must be.
You'd like to think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think the most secure place in the UK at the moment must be the Labour Party headquarters, because they must be risk of attack every day. Thank you, Kane. Defiant Fox, civil war started when civilians lose their God-given rights and freedoms, like free speech, and imposing czars to protect enemy invaders over British citizens. Statement more than a question. What are you talking about? That's you, Brian.
I was answering the super gun.
Don't put a question in.
It wasn't a question, it was in capitals.
You put a question mark on the end so it flags it. Butthole. Gavin,
Hold on now. Singing the song of my people, Mike.
Hello all. Question. How worried are you about fuel shortages?
Fuel prices.
All stocking up.
Yeah, fuel prices is more what I'm concerned about than fuel shortage.
Yeah. I tend to agree. It's not so much a shortage is caused by the panic buying, I think, when people are seeing forecourts closed over here. But yeah, the prices, it literally day by day. I can't fill the tank today. I'll have to wait till like Tuesday, Wednesday this week to fill it up again. And I'd like to see the difference from today to then. You know what I mean? It'll be a lot more. So, anyone worried about fuel shortages?
No.
Not at the moment, no. I think, well, I'll answer that. I don't think we'll have a shortage of fuel other than the shortage of fuel that we cause as part of a mass panic. Yeah. And by us, I mean the government. If they turn out tomorrow after their Cobra meeting and say, we're going to have to restrict to 50 miles an hour, try and work from home, people will freak out and empty the fuel forecourts for a few days, maybe a week or so. And then it'll be back to normal, but hideously overpriced.
Yeah. We'll create rationing ourselves as the price shoots up, because people just simply can't afford it. Cost of living is already bad enough in this country. Thank you, Gavin. Already had that one. I'm waiting for China to take Taiwan. Why was Japan at the White House? Because they're an ally.
The Prime Minister of Japan's just been re-elected on a anti-China manifesto. So she was doing the usual rounds of meeting world leaders to say, "Hi, I'm the new Prime Minister of Japan." So there wasn't that was all it was really.
She's very
Trump
as well.
Tactfully said, "You didn't warn us about Pearl Harbor."
Yes, but yeah, and there was gasps in the room.
It's a fair point, though. Like, see, the media's kind of spun that a little bit as well to say as if he just out of the blue said that. He was asked the question, why didn't you alert your allies, including Japan, that the attack was going to be? And he simply said, well, of course you're going to tell. It's the element of surprise. That's what he was getting to. And then the media picked up on that one thing.
He's whenever the media for saying it. He's an absolute knobhead for saying it.
Yeah, he is. But and she's actually very friendly towards him as well. But you know, Trump's a buffoon, and he thinks he's the man of the world. He just says what comes to his mind. That's kind of just the way it is. But whenever I see the media focus on just one sentence that Trump said, I always take the time to actually watch what the rest of the sentence was to see what other mumblings he was coming out with, and it has context.
It has context. It's just not very tactful, right? It's just you're talking about a generation that is not anything to do with Japan now, because it's Trump's not that nation anymore.
Yeah, Trump's a narcissist. I mean, but everybody knows that. So,
I mean, that just literally takes me to a Harry Enfield sketch of the German guy in the queue going about who's sorry. I must apologize for my country's actions during the war.
During the war, yeah.
It's a different nation now. Marty, I've just had a lovely weekend in Swansea. Who would have thought that Wales was so nice?
The English bloke top right will tell you.
Yeah.
Well, if it's so shit, why do England keep trying to invade it?
If it's so good, why are you moving?
Yeah. Touche. I had a good stag do in Swansea. There was a good stag do I went to in Swansea once. That's good. And it's down the road from the Penderyn distillery, by the way. So that's good a visit.
Oh, yeah, Penderyn, nice.
At what point do you think there will be a call for the people of Iran to rise up against the regime? It's been and gone.
It's already happened.
He's tried that, and it's a disarmed nation. It's like saying, this is why when people have mentioned civil war in this country and we've just gone, it's logistically not possible, because they're a disarmed nation, even more so than we are. So, yeah.
So if you want to look at the theory behind this, look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The bottom layer, if anyone's familiar with it, is food, water, security. That's what Iranians are bothered about at the moment. They're not bothered about protesting on the street because they're trying not to die of thirst, hunger, or exposure. And also the RGC have said, have put their thugs on the street, or freedom fighters, whichever you want to call it, and so they are very strictly controlling the population. But I imagine most Iranians are just concerned about where their next meal is coming from at the moment.
And ironically, if Trump follows through with his threats and attacks civilian infrastructure, that will only suppress the civilians and harm them more. So they're not going to be, like John's saying, they're not going to be able to rise up in some revolution when they have no electricity or fuel or food or water, because that's what they have to deal with that before coming to anything else.
Can I point out something else? Sorry, on you go, Al.
No, I was just going to say that I think the Americans are still relying on the Kurds taking the initiative because they are armed to some extent, and the CIA have been briefing them. That's well documented now. But I don't think they're a large enough fighting body.
I don't think they have the desire to do so either.
Just to add something, and I know we've got our American friends in the chat as well, that when we say something on here, it's not a jibe at the American people. I think they're all great. It's a lovely country, great people. But we are allowed an opinion on the leadership and what they're doing, same as you can have an opinion on ours. So this comment is specifically, if you look at history, from the Vietnam War to the Gulf Wars to Afghan, right, to Libya, Syria, all the failed states that have been regime changed, right, or supported directly, every time they get fed up and fuck off, and the people that were there fighting the war and being supported by them get left to be slaughtered. So if you study your recent history, the last 40, 50 years, you know at some point, if you do rise up and you are getting support, it's transitory and short term, and they're going to fuck off and leave you. And there's a good chance you're getting slaughtered when they go. So why would you? And I don't mean that to be offensive, but that is how it is.
And the UK's been complicit in most of those campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's Adventures has said, as Iran attacked other Gulf nations who have capabilities to retaliate and not done, why have they not done so?
They've all got the means to retaliate, but they've been deliberately holding back. I think was it Saudi Arabia recently that says that they're getting to the point where they might have to start doing something.
They've expelled their ambassador. Yeah, sorry, John.
No, it's okay. They've expelled Iranian diplomats, which is a sure sign that they're going to intervene. The problem with that is that the Houthis will then go mental because they're like honey badgers, and they will start attacking Saudi Arabia. So they just don't give a fuck. They're just like, yeah, whatever. That could be the opening up of the second front.
The fact
they also, by and large, don't have big militaries or vast stockpiles. So if they did, so the reason they hold them back is they don't have much to retaliate with. They haven't got large stockpiles. They're not like a. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got masses and masses of stuff to retaliate with, which has rather been holding back.
None of those countries are actually particularly friendly with Iran, apart from Qatar, who are basically their allies. But they like to play play both sides. I mean, that's their
Sunni and Shia, isn't it? That's the difference.
Mm.
Is it Sunni and Shia?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If the Middle East becomes nuclear wasteland, how fast will the world's economy collapse?
Minutes.
Yeah. I mean, this is the concern right now. Without nuclear, it doesn't have to become nuclear for that to happen, I would say. But yeah, hopefully that's never going to be the case. I'm fully prepped. I've got a 12-volt battery to boil my kettle and 12 tins of beans. I'm good to go. Well done, Telder Boy. I know you're lying. Colin Goddard says, in such an unstable world, why can't the UK produce its own oil and gas? Is this due to Millerbrain?
Yep.
Yeah, UK can. It's policy, the carbon neutral, whatever you want to call it, going green policy of successive governments is killing the oil and gas industry.
It's killing.
Oh, they've
the
killed
country.
Well, yes, nearly killed already. I think there's a very small, slim window of opportunity, isn't there, Brian? We were talking about this the other day, where they could just about get a couple of the oil rigs out there and stick them on top of a cap.
That would involve admitting mistakes. That would involve admitting they were wrong, which will never happen.
Yeah.
They won't do it, because if they do actually do that, you'll have some lentil-eating, blue-haired, screeching fun bag sticking themselves to the fucking tarmac when they try and put the, So it's just, we're surrounded by woke lettuces and half of them are in power, unfortunately. So they'll still be wringing their hands saying that so everything's going to be fine when the lights go out. And make no bones about it, 5 to 10 years, the lights are going out.
Yeah. If we're lucky, 5 to 10 years is a very conservative estimate, I would say.
Plus, the devolved government in Scotland for 20 years is very against oil. The SNP government and the Green Coalition, they couldn't be more against oil if you tried. And because of the way our government is set up, they'll probably be in power for another 20 years, unfortunately.
And they're just as anti-nuclear as well.
Oh, they're very anti-nuclear, which is held back thousands of jobs and security in Scotland and the rest of the UK, but more specifically in Scotland.
Can't we all just get along, sit in circles, and kumbaya?
It's the greenest energy as well. I can never understand why the Greens are against nuclear energy, but I think that's because they grew up believing that the word nuclear is bad.
Yeah, pretty much. Thread scenario, hopefully not. I don't think we'd get to that point at this stage. What about the kids? I mean, yep.
Don't care, I haven't got any.
Won't anyone think of the children?
They're delicious. 180 for 6 hours.
That didn't work out too well for Gary Glitter.
Moving swiftly on, Dominic Moore says, I asked a few weeks ago if you thought the UK could go to war and face conscription. You all felt no. Has your view now changed? I think, personally, I don't agree with conscription. I'm with Andy on this one. It's ridiculous. It waters down our capabilities, our forces. It puts good men at risk. However, I wouldn't put it past this government, is what I would say now. Anyone got any thoughts on this?
I still think it's a big no, mate. And for the same reason, I think we didn't help America with Iran. It would massively show our hand of how ill-equipped we are. So you start, if they want to start conscription, mate, they had to start doing resource gathering 2 years ago. So if you start conscription now, you've got nowhere to house them, you've got nowhere to feed them, you've got nowhere to clothe them, you've got no weapons for them to fire, you've got no equipment for them to train on. And like Alan said last week, mate, no pointless having a standing army and paying people when they've got nothing to do. So why would there bring conscription in for all those reasons I've just outlined? They sold all the military accommodation and camp away to Landmark, or vast majority of it. They give all of our equipment away to Ukraine. They've got nowhere to house you, they've got nowhere to feed you, they've got nowhere to clothe you or train you. So what would be the point of conscription? You'd just be paying people to sit at home. I don't understand what the point of...
Yeah. We should be...
How depressing is that? That's the state of the UK military. I mean, that really is a ringing indictment. It's terrible.
We should redirect a lot of our funding away from the benefit system and the immigration system and that whole body of nonsense that's happened over the past 30 years from the woke side of our government, and invest that in R&D and intelligence and slowly build our military up to the point where we're more tuned in with what's going on in the world. We should have ships in the Straits of Hormuz chaperoning our interests through that strait. We should take control of these strategic places in the world, just like Britain has done this in the past. It could do it again in the future if it just showed some actual balls and started doing it and stopped relying entirely on America, which I think that era's came to an end now anyway. Thankfully, Trump has exposed that, and he thinks he's doing good for America by doing that. In reality, he's done good for all of us, and probably less so for America, because I think nobody in Europe can seriously believe that we can just go by now, allowing an umbrella like Trump to sort of dictate what goes on.
Indeed. Thank you, Dominic. I think we're all of the same sort of mindset as we once were. It's just not a possibility in this country. It's not a case. It's not about the willing. It's not about the willing at all. It's about, the capabilities and logistics of it. How have you hardened your homes? I married a Scottish woman. Next.
Sorted. Glasgow kiss.
Hardened your homes. Anyone increase the security for as part of their preps? Maybe not necessarily just for this situation, but in general. Anyone done extra security on their homes?
On my new
Even if I
home,
did, I wouldn't mention it. Sorry.
On my new home, I'm planning additional security. That's all I'll say.
There you go.
He's got a guy at the front door with a bell, and if someone breaks in, he goes, "Yee, John Wick."
I thought he'd put an elastic band around the sheep's willy. Keep it awake.
Someone's all sat from the basement at the same time, and they all come running up.
I put elastic bands around lamb's balls. Yeah.
Maybe the conscription thing, Andy. Maybe that's why they're doing the crossbow thing, because they're going to get all this everyone handing in crossbows, and that's how they're going to arm them all. We have regiments of people with adders and stuff.
You know what, mate? That wouldn't even surprise me. You're joking. That wouldn't surprise me.
Get all the longbows out of the Leeds armory, and we'll have archers again. That's what our military will devolve to. For me, I've got the usual security that we've talked about many times on the fireside. Just the common sense stuff: bolts on your doors, locks on your windows, alarms, cameras, stuff like that. We've done many episodes on security and home security. So yeah.
To be fair, Mike's bad luck is the ultimate prep, because someone would try to break into his house, and the door handle would snap off. They'd fall backwards and crack their head and die on the
corner. Well, they'd cut their wrist on the glass.
Home Alone.
Yeah, it would be like Home Alone. Yeah,
I'd just be sat there and it'd just all be happening around me.
But you're in an unfortunate position, Mike, is that you could just gather up a dozen of your kids, and they could sort of do a mass attack on the intruders that came through the door.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've got a little video of my 2-year-old with a pole. We were in the back garden. She was copying my exercises, so I started messing about with it, and she was like doing ninja poses. I'm like, you're gonna train up well.
Yeah, it's gonna be
fine. So yeah, I mean, without going down a whole security loop again, hopefully that helps Sleeping Savage. But yeah, just go and check out the previous firesides on security and stuff like that. I'm sure any of us that are increasing our security right now probably don't want to share it, like Brian said.
There's a few things you can do to just sort of have on standby. You can get those little window alarms that you just stick in either side of the window. You can get the little wedges that make a noise when someone pushes the door, or that. Just, you don't have to implement them, just have them ready to go if you feel insecure enough to have to use them.
Self-assessment of your own home, do layers, and think about slowing people down. That is your objective. Your objective is not to stop them in the tracks with some sort of Vietnamese deadfall trap. It's to slow them down so you can make an escape. So fire doors,
marbles on the floor, right?
You are?
Marbles on the floor.
Marbles on the floor. Paint cans on strings coming from the stairs. Yeah.
How you spell in Vietnamese again?
Vietnamese. If you want to see them traps, go and check out the Prepared Pathfinder. He went over there and did a whole series of videos over there. There's some really cool stuff on there. Not that I encourage building any sort of traps. I can't believe people actually believe what politicians are telling them as to start a huge war. Everyone forgot Iraq war, lies upon lies. I don't think we're believing it. We're just seeing the effects.
No, we're not believing a word of it.
Yeah. Question everything. Have you trained to carry the weight of your bug out bags? Yes, indeed. I have, obviously, through the charity events and stuff like that, and you learn very quickly how heavy it is. And we were talking about this the other night, Alan, and Alan went to the extreme of debagging. Debagging's a horrible word to mention when Brian's on a podcast.
That's your forte, Mike, isn't it?
Taking
That's
the freeze-dried stuff out of the bags to save grams of weights of the bags. So yeah, we were talking about that and stuff. Alan, you tried a lot with you use your bag a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. If I don't have something called a bug out bag, I've got a bag that I use depending on the environment or the location I'm going, and it changes. So the other night when I was talking to you about that time that I sort of literally decanted things like freeze-dried food into freezer bags to save a few grams, that's because I was doing a hiking trip. And so all of the equipment I had was as ultra light as possible. And I can't remember the exact weight I got my pack down to. I've done a video about it actually somewhere years ago, but it was very light. But you have to carry what you know you can carry. I don't advocate going above 15 kilograms for any bag. I don't know what that is in pounds, probably about 35 pounds or something. 15 kilograms for me is enough. And then I can add food and water to that if I need to. That's dry weight, by the way. That's not including food and water. So add that on there as well.
You'd laugh at me, Alan. I used to go on multi-day overnight camps in the lakes, and I'd go up with about 32 kilos.
Yeah, I mean, you can do
on the way up.
I mean, that's the fight. It depends what you think you're going to be doing with it. Sometimes I take a bloody van full of stuff. You know, I did that on the last trip I went with.
You sure did.
You know what I mean? It's not a case of not having the means to take a bunch of stuff if you know you can use it. But if you're talking about having a bag that you might have to be mobile with, then you have to genuinely understand how far can I really go over rough terrain and bad weather without my feet falling off. You're on mute.
Sorry, mate.
Talking to myself. Don't think it's something you've done when you're 21 as well that you can still do when you're 51. If you don't test it regular, your strength changes.
Yeah.
So
at Brian's age, you could probably do about 5 kilos now.
I'm sure there's actually a metric to it. I forget what it is, but I think it might be something like 9% of your body weight. Don't carry more than that on your back if you plan on going more than sort of 10, 15 miles.
Yeah, I mean, I get all the rough guidelines. I would purely say it's down to the individual, the strength, the endurance, how much you do it.
You'll always get some Royal Marine bloke who says, I used to carry 110 pounds and it was fine for me. Well, yeah, you were 22 years old and you can do it for a few years. Now your knees are a bag of shit. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
Then you see him jogging all together with octopus straps going everywhere and it's hilarious. But, you know, carry on.
Your kit will be self-selecting as well. If you bug out and you've got an 80-kilogram pack in your back, you'll soon learn what's important.
Yeah, definitely. I can leave a few kids behind. So yeah, I think most of us have took that into consideration. It's definitely a good point to bring up. With regards to this question, you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention questions, something you later rely on in court, so we won't be answering. But yeah. Thoughts on the UK crossbow ban coming? We've already done that one. Yeah. Lads, where can I get that dehydrated water from? That's
I'll sell you some.
Go and check out the Sofa Survivalist at Sofa Survivalist on YouTube. He's the man to ask for that. He'll definitely hook you up. Alpha Romeo 09er says, I think maybe one for John. Any views on the meningitis outbreak? Will this affect anything going on elsewhere? I've just read now during this podcast that the numbers have actually come down for the first time. So it's being contained. Meningitis is nowhere near as contagious as the flu, as COVID, as anything like that. The reason it's spreading through universities is because they're all dirty bastards. So we should be pretty safe, is what I would say. John, it was addressed to you. Sorry, I didn't mean to answer for you. But
no, it's okay. No, absolutely right, Mike. The numbers are coming down now. So it's, although it is a big outbreak for meningitis, it's not a big outbreak for the country. So just keep that in perspective. UK HSA have been all over it. That's their job. They have people on standby 24 hours a day. They have health experts 24 hours a day. I noticed ASDA said that they were going to sell the meningitis vaccine at cost to try and encourage people to get a meningitis vaccine. I think that's a little bit alarmist and a little bit opportunist, because I'm in West Wales. I'm under no threat at all from getting meningitis because I'm 250 miles away. So why would I have a meningitis vaccine? So I think that's as a sort of profiteering a little bit. But is it going to? Will it affect anything going on elsewhere? No, because UK HSA's prime role is this sort of thing: is control of infectious disease, and other government departments are working on the other stuff.
Yeah. So don't lick any students and you'll be all right.
It's a bit of a strange story, though, that the media keep going on about that one outbreak. I'm not entirely sure why, because I don't know a lot about meningitis, but
fear sells. That's why, Alan. Fear sells.
Well, that's the thing. I can see online that if you take a look at NHS historical data, a bacterial meningitis affects 1,000 to 1,500 cases per year in the UK. Viral meningitis is between 5,000 and 6,000 people. 1 in 7 people carry meningitis anyway, and it's deadly in between 5 and 10% of cases. That's been the case in this country forever. So, you know, is it because there's a COVID inquiry taking place right now? Maybe, you know, bit of a distraction.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Distraction. It's always about distraction. Yeah, so nothing to worry about. Don't lick students. That message is for you, Brian.
Don't share vapes.
Whatever happened to monkeypox? Remember that was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Then
Whatever
they
happened
changed
to
the
Monkey
name of it.
Magic? That was a great TV show.
Brian's never been the same since, I hear.
Magic
Since what?
stick.
Oh, it was so good. And when I was growing up, I wanted that cloud. I'm sorry to segue the program into this, but I mean, everybody should watch Monkey Magic. It was brilliant.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is that? Did they have a
no
magic
way.
stick?
Cloud.
Magic stick, eh?
Not a clue.
Cloud.
What?
Welcome to the age gap. Welcome to the
Used
age
to
gap.
have never seen Monk. Oh, no way. Fuck.
I grew up with Captain Planet, all right? That's my generation.
Yeah, I remember.
Who's Captain fucking Planet?
He's a hero. He's going to take pollution down to zero, of course.
That explains a lot.
It's Miliband in a cape and a blue skin.
That explains your aversion to plastic then. I'm saving the universe. One kid at a time.
Any of the panel recommend a decent air rifle? No.
No.
What projectile tools can you guys have in the UK?
Stones.
Yeah, throwing squirrels. We have all sorts of range sports in the UK still. We have archery, we have air guns, we have shotguns, we have rifles, we have pistol shooting over a certain length, which is pretty much carbines more than pistols. We have everything that most other countries can do for legalized sporting purposes only.
Right up to 50 caliber.
There we go. It's pretty expensive though.
If you're prepared to go through the ball ache to get a license for it.
Yeah. How much weight should a bug out bag weigh for somebody to have a successful bug out? It doesn't matter. It's look at what you need, test it, use it, take it out there, go out for a weekend. You don't even have to bug out to somewhere wild and put yourself in any sort of danger. Just go to a local campsite and test the stuff just from your bag if you feel safer doing so. And you'll realize what you don't use. You'll realize what you need, what you're missing. And you'll build up your own thing. And then it's all down to your physical strength. We cannot tell you. Andy's bag's going to be vastly different from mine. It's going to be vastly different from Alan's, from Brian's and stuff like that. So it's not a single, point. So I'd just say test, reuse everything. Anyone want to add anything to that?
Yeah, you could always bug out to the Savoy with John.
I'll be there.
Live the dream.
I'll even pay for your room.
I'll have you know, he has fell on rough times. He was at a Best Western the other day.
No, worse than that. Holiday Inn
what was it?
Express
Holiday Inn
Oh.
Express.
with
Holiday
the
Inn
public.
Express.
I'm surprised you didn't burst into flames when you crossed through the automatic doors.
Even the staff lost respect for him when he got home.
So I just kind of I was going to answer that question.
Go for it.
It depends on what your risk assessment is and what your plan is. What's your most reasonable scenario for your bug out? If your bug out is to go next door to your neighbour's house, take your 180 kilograms with you. It doesn't really matter. If you have a car when you bug out, which is not unreasonable unless you've had an EMP, you fill your car up with stuff. If you're planning to trek 50 kilometers over rough terrain to get to a safe place, you're going to have to carry as little as possible. So, as you just said, there's no real answer to it. It's what is your bug out scenario, or what is your most likely bug out scenario? Tailor it to that.
And
Yeah,
if you
it was
decide to do
like
it on
when
a bike,
people-
take painkillers.
Yes.
Say again?
Ice cream.
Take a lot of painkillers.
No, it's like when people have said people critiqued my videos for my get home bag, and then they've put comments in there saying what I'd done wrong. It's like I've not done anything wrong. This is my get home bag. I know what I can do, what I'm capable of, and which way I'm going. How can you tell me anything's wrong? If your get home from work is an hour's walk, what do you need in your get home bag? Nothing. Bottle of water and some trainers. You can get home.
4
It's
cans of
irrelevant.
Pepsi.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't weigh yourself down with pointless crap. So yeah, hopefully that's helped in some way, Mr. Knight. But I would say look at videos on all of these guys' channels, have a look at different loadouts and stuff, and just test and see what's best for you. Should they start registering cricket bats then? Yes, again,
Lethal.
you how stupid you want to go with this is endless. You know,
He
retina
got kicked.
damage. He got kicked.
Yeah,
From
on account of being a bit of a chopper, so he's gone.
Okay. Well, I'll answer his question anyway. On crossbows, what sort of spec to look for?
No idea.
Never owned one.
what
I've
are you
never
doing?
had a crossbow.
Which
Randy
target
Bly, I don't
range
have
are you going to? You know, that's the thing. It's all I would say, because we don't want to advise anyone. Crossbows are not a self-defense weapon or anything like that. This is a sport. This is for sporting purposes only, and we will always tell you the same thing. What I will say is do not think you are Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead and you can do backflips while reloading 15 times. If you think, oh, that 150-pound draw weight crossbow looks great, go to your friendly local shop and test it, cock it, see how much strength it takes, even with the cocking strings, to actually cock that crossbow. If you're anywhere near South Wales, go to Lee at the bug out. He's got stuff in there that you'll let you just take on the range and test for yourself. So it's all down to your ability and what you want to do. I'm trying to answer some of these as diplomatically as possible. Can you tell? Brian, are you completely off grid electric wise?
No. Short answer, no. Although from about March till late September, yes, because there's enough sun and battery storage and solar panels that we don't pay for any electricity between March and pretty much the start of October. However, solar being solar, it does not give us enough to meet our needs and demands from about October till start of March, more or less.
Yeah, and I assume that's based on current living and how you're living now. If it came to the grid going down, you could ration that a lot more and be off grid, right?
100%. If the grid was down with the amount of solar panels on both sides of the roof and on this workshop and the folding ones and the power banks, we would be functionally independent for the grid. Unless it was a really bad winter, I'd need to do supplemental charging. As a rule of thumb, if it's a 500 watt panel, you'll get about 10% in the winter on average.
There you go. And the winter in Scotland is about 11 and a half months of the year. So, does anyone make their own biofuel? Nope. Nope. Sorry. Hawkins, are you still awake?
Still here, mate. I know a guy who does biofuel, but it's not me.
All right.
You've been awful quiet.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's
Just enjoying this.
he's sat there with his hand up waiting to make a point the whole
He's,
time.
he's actually in his truck in the petrol station filling that 120-litre tank up.
I mean,
12
he's-
I feel like
litres.
I feel like I'm in a public toilet and somebody's watching me take a piss. He's just sitting there.
He likes to watch.
Should I put my keys in a bowl or something here?
Absolutely.
How many Frey Bentos pies do you have, Mike? I don't know. I'd have to check my list, but I think it's about 15 at the moment. I do eat them. This is something I eat on a regular basis. So, but yeah, Rogers. I've just done a video for Rogers, the close to date wholesalers. They've got loads in at the moment, and they're really cheap. So, and we know sell by dates mean nothing. So I'll update you on that soon. Tack Group, do any of you use power tools batteries for preps? I have battery, kettle, radio, lighting now. Would be great to hear your thoughts about using power tools batteries. Yeah, I've started going down this route. I've got a very interesting strimmer tool that could be, could strim zombies if they attacked. But I've started looking at the batteries for power tools and stuff, especially the ones that interchange between a lot of different devices. But anyone else on this one?
I've
Yes.
got
I don't
28
do it.
volt meters.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Hopkins,
bud,
go
on you go.
Sorry, I was just saying I got about 20 18-volt Makita batteries. So, and plenty of chargers and different apparatus for using, like lights and USB chargers and things that clip into them and things like that. So, yeah.
Do you have
Yeah,
anything
but
that they can use like that where he says kettle, radio, lighting, so it's not actually tools?
I've got lights, I've got USB chargers and stuff that plug into them, and then other than that, just probably pretty much half the Makita catalog, to be honest.
I know, I've seen your shelves. John?
Yeah, I got about 12 Ryobi batteries, and it's similar. You get a charger with every bloody battery you buy, almost. And once a year, I look out and they do a deal 2 for 1. So I'll sometimes use that. I've got a radio, I've got a couple of lamps, inspection lamps, that sort of thing, torches. And Ryobi also this little thing that sits on top of the battery. It gives you an inverter into a 3-pin UK plug and a couple of USB.
Nice.
So that's really handy. I've got 2 of those, one in my EMP kit and one that generally is good for just charging for iPhones and things like that. Cool.
I'll have to have a look at that. That sounds really interesting. Cheers, Tack Group. Hopefully that answered your question there. Harsh language is illegal in the UK, isn't it? Only if you say it to the wrong person.
Yes.
London has already fallen, so what is the concern with the missile? Question: what is everyone doing for alternative travel? Bike, bus, etc. Anyone got alternative travel options?
Yeah, I got an electric bike that I can charge off my power bank.
I fucking knew it'd be
Excellent.
electric. I knew it would be. I knew you
I've
would be
had 2 e-bikes.
using your own energy to push it.
I thought he would have a tandem, Andy, with stuff on the front and his foot up on the back.
The footman.
That's his backup.
And do you remember them Pontins ones where the whole family can pedal? He'd just be in the back seat of that.
Mate, if
just
you
get
did that,
nothing
you'd break
but-
land speed records.
You just get nothing but abuse here, mate. Just
You-
nothing but abuse. I would
You're all
defend
on
you,
the
but
list now.
I would try and defend you, but they'll turn on me next, so I'm not going to.
You're all on the list.
John, we've been on lists for a long time.
But you're on my list.
So John's got an electric bike. Anyone else?
2 electric bikes. But the car's electric as well.
Well,
so
Sago, sorry, Brian, sorry. Where's all the abuse for Brian's electric bike?
It's not for Brian.
because I pedal it myself.
Yeah, the car's electric as well. Have you worked out how you could, how much that would take to charge off the house batteries? Would it be viable use?
100% viable. So at the moment, yesterday I got 20 kilowatts out of the sun, which would give me about a third of a full tank, basically, of charge. So a couple of days like yesterday, yeah, 3 days you'd have a full charge. On a kind of decent sunny day, you'd get half a charge per day. So
Right.
totally viable.
Excellent. Andy?
I've just got a normal bike, mate, not non-e-bike, just a normal one.
You pedal like
Well,
the
I've got
rest
a
of
couple,
us.
yeah.
plebs.
I've got a gravel bike, 2 mountain bikes. So that's what I'll use, mate, for alternative.
Yeah. Alan?
I've got a Royal Enfield Himalayan because I'm a man. I'm not going to be seen on a bike, whether I pedal it or it's electricity or not. I put petrol in mine and I just carry on. But, in all seriousness, though, I probably will get a decent mountain bike at some point. And
nice.
You should make a plan for if you do a commute. Is your commute still viable? If you suddenly had extreme fuel shortages or no access to a car. Luckily, I could walk to work, so I don't think about it as much. But I have had jobs in the past where I can't get there without a car, so I would seriously think about an alternative if I worked there still.
Mine's like nearly 90 miles. So I literally turned around to my boss last week and said, this fuel thing carries on. I'm not going to be in 2 days a week. You can, it's just not going to happen. I've pre-warned him because it's not viable. I've done the bike thing and stuff like that. And to be honest, I was better on foot doing the hike than I was cycling over distance. I have the wounds to justify that.
Then that's saying something.
Yeah, that's definitely saying something. Yeah, so I'd be back to walking. I'd love a horse, but they frown upon it in city centres. So
it'd be a tin of dog food in 3 seconds as soon as you touched it. Poor old Dobbin, the pantomime horse, is dog food. He'd be in the glue factory.
See, it's not just you, John. See, I get it all the time. There you go. Mr. T and Dr. P says Gov came out and said about tracking victims so they don't come too close to convicted attackers. To me, seems like a soft rollout of tracking everyone. Morally, tracking the victim seems very wrong.
That can't be right, surely.
Not a clue about what he's going on about, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the slow rollout of facial recognition and tracking and stuff like that, I assume. But yeah, interesting. I don't know enough about this to answer any sort of question on it, so I will have to look into it.
I imagine it has to be some sort of alert system for the victims if they come too close to a convicted attacker that's got an ankle tag or something. Surely.
Is it like Wedlock? Has anyone seen the film Wedlock? Is it like that, but the opposite direction? You get too close, your head blows up, that kind of thing.
Nice.
No? Vote Mike for the next election.
I'm going to look up on it, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's scarily interesting if that happens. John came in with some facts of distance from northwest Iran: London 3,710, Portsmouth 3,775, Southampton 4,000, Leeds 3,830, Birmingham 3,840, Newcastle 3,850. Get in, we don't mind. Hit Newcastle. Manchester 3,870, Edinburgh 3,960, Glasgow 425. So yeah, we're pretty much all in range. But I mean,
how can Southampton be 4,000 and Glasgow 425?
I don't know. Maybe
because
it depends.
Because it's closer, John.
Flat Earth, John. Flat Earth.
I know as an officer, but I reckon there's more than 25 kilometres between Glasgow and Southampton.
Well,
even if you use WPS and take into account the sphere of the Earth, there's more than 25 kilometres between Southampton and Glasgow.
Anyway, how will the laser missile shoot downers get powered if in an energy crisis?
Good question.
Go to Brian's house.
Yeah. Brian is our air defense. With everything going on and Starmer acting like a coward, if Iran did try and hit UK mainland, what are the chances of USA helping us when the UK government turned its back on its closest ally? They would help us with humanitarian aid after the fact, is my opinion.
I think if they did the charges for it, Wouldn't be for free.
Oh, yeah.
Serious answers. I don't think the UK has turned its back on its ally. I think the legal advice Starmer got was that it was not justified and it was an illegal intervention, which is why he's run away from it. That's my personal opinion. He didn't want anything to do with it because the UK traditionally is the first to stand up and stand beside the US, and he hasn't. Why? Have his lawyers said?
Because we haven't got the capability. It's got absolutely fuck all to do.
But even if it was a token effort, we would have normally sent something. So I think he's been told this is illegal.
It broke down. They did try and send it.
If anything, the US has turned their back on us by not informing us of what they were going to do, so we could make our decision. You know.
Yeah, interesting. Many points across there. Do we think if something happened to us, they would still? I think they'd still be an ally. They've also got assets here in the UK, so they've got skin in the game, right?
Absolutely.
They didn't rush their aid in World War II. People forget that, you know. They also didn't help us in the Falklands. You know, it's like, and we didn't go to war in Vietnam. I mean, they're like countries can be allies and not be involved in each other's conflicts all the time. That's not how it works. There has to be a mutual reason for it. There was in Iraq to some extent, according to Tony Blair and Bush. But if you're not even going to bother to tell us what you are doing, I would be hesitant as well. Although I do think the UK should have participated, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mel says, is the Scottish Prep meet still going ahead unaffected? Yes, we planned for it to go ahead. And I said, worst case scenario, if it's all hit the fan, we'll still meet at the same place on the same weekend and we'll have a big Bartertown for all those post-apocalyptic survivors. So
it'd be like the scene out the Wicker Man.
I'll have to set up in June.
Yeah. I will send walking directions to everyone's email just in case. So yeah, they hopefully all going ahead, Mel. No refunds. Seems a very basic question. If you had no water for say over 2 weeks, you've gone through your stored water, how are you washing yourself and your clothes?
In the river.
Okay.
You don't.
So I'm washing myself with wet wipes
Mm-hmm.
to a certain extent, because if you use them too often, the chemicals start to affect your skin. But and my clothes, I wouldn't. Yeah. I'd smell.
No one made a joke about his soft RAF skin there, no?
I was about to, mate. I was about to. There was loads of cases of lads who deployed out on the ground, mate, in Afghan, not like Kandahar, who actually deployed out on the ground.
As a bastion, thank you.
Fucking even worse. There was so there was like loads of lads who deployed out on the ground, mate. Like water was always for drinking, shaving and cleaning, and washing your clothes was always secondary. So if you only had water to drink, like I would just drink it, mate. I wouldn't worry about. Yeah,
grow a beard.
Yeah. I mean, the situation, no water, say, for over 2 weeks, I assume she's meaning like from the main supply, but you know, you've got your own water. Prioritize is drinking. I would fill baths and containers. Some of that could be used for stuff like that, even if it was a case of a small bucket of like grey water as such, what that wasn't drinkable, that could be used just to wash underwear and basics like that. There's all sorts of different ways of doing that. I actually did a bit of it during my 48-hour blackout just to show an example of it.
Couldn't you wash in the Manchester Canal again, Mike?
I wouldn't. If you washed anything in the Manchester Canal, it would come out dirtier or pregnant.
No, you'd be all right, Mike, because as soon as you jumped in, it'd set on fire. So the water itself would be sterile. So then you'd be able to just wash your clothes.
The glistening petroleum shine across the top of the canal, I could probably skim enough fuel off that.
Is that your food plan, Mike? You jump into the canal, all the fish jump out.
Fish? You want it? I wouldn't even risk.
You would eat it out of there.
If a fish gets out of there, it's walking out with tattoos. I wouldn't even. But yeah, I mean, fresh water sources, stuff like that, especially if you've got access to a river or anything like that, by all means, wash clothes and stuff like that. Just remember what's downstream. Remember wherever you do stuff upstream, it affects downstream and stuff like that. So don't be putting chemicals in the water to wash your clothes, then filling your water bottles both lower down. You know, just a bit of common sense in practice there. Anyone else?
No, you would just go back to medieval times, really, and you would prioritize drinking, like everybody else is saying, and wash very sparsely when you could. You know, from a hygienic point of view, unless you're doing a lot of marching, a lot of moving, you don't actually need to wash yourself that much. Your body actually kind of self-cleans after about 6 weeks, randomly enough. But if you are hiking for a long time, if you were hiking for straight 2 weeks and you weren't like sorting out your feet, your crotch and your arse and things like that, you would get blisters and hot spots, and that would become infected and you would have problems there. You could prioritize that kind of hygiene, you'd be fine. You can go a long time stinking. I mean, that's animals do.
Yeah.
B&Q orange buckets, £1.
Yeah, isn't it a horse bath where it's just a bit of water in the sink and a cloth and
a rag on a stick? That's all you need.
You
know what I mean? It's like...
I wash myself with a rag on a stick. Anyway, hope that helps in some way. God knows how, but hopefully it does. Last one from Phil. What film/book does your current scenario look like to you?
Probably that House of Dynamite film, mate, on Netflix that John mentioned earlier. That's probably the closest.
Don't tell me the end like I've ruined it for you.
Oh, wait till this stream finishes. You wait right there.
Is that the one where everyone dies? Oh, sorry.
In the green room, by the way, I told Andy the end of the new Peaky Blinders film before he's seen it. So yeah, he's out for vendetta. I am going to watch that though. House of Dynamite. Anyone else?
2006 Total War. It's a book. It's very reminiscent of that.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I don't want to spoil the book, but if you haven't read it, it's worth reading. It predicted a lot of shit that went on with Arab Spring 10 years before it happened. So it's pretty good book.
Excellent. Alan, anything?
Like I said in one of my more recent videos, I kind of think we're living in the Matrix. The craziness that's going on in the world, I think it's all simulation. This can't be real, you know. But who knows?
If it's a simulation, why would they program me so many bloody kids? It's just not fair.
It's because you're the real life version of the Minions.
That made me Gru.
Yeah.
No.
It's the goo that's the problem, no Gru. Too much goo.
Lipstick taser. I mean, it's difficult to say, but I mean, everything we hear about this government pushing ridiculous laws through while other stuff's going on in the world, I'm still going to stick with we are on our way. If there was a prequel to the 1984 movie, that's what we're in right now, and that's what we're heading towards, in my opinion. Anyone else? Movie, book, current scenario? Nope. All done. That is the end of them questions. That's not bad. 2 hours, 20 minutes. There was other questions coming afterwards, but I did say I couldn't, we had to stop taking them at some point. So there's always millions of questions on these things. So hopefully, if you've not had your question answered, you can join us on the Discord. All of us are on the Discord, and as well as a massive community, well over 400 preppers, survivalists, and homesteaders, etc., from all over the world. Always welcoming in anyone, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about on there. To a degree, read the rules. We've had to add new ones. I'm trying to scroll to the bottom here. I'm 400 comments behind, so I am trying to scroll to the bottom. There was no super chats or anything I missed. That's all right. Okay, cool. 330 people still in here. I'm not going to go around all the table for everything because, John and Hawkins haven't pulled the finger out and made a channel. But Andy, tell everyone who doesn't know about the Bombardier.
Bombardier YouTube channel. It's got kit reviews, military angle and stuff from my time when I was in service. And then I've got another one called Andy Hates Shadows of Sightings, and that's about weird and wonderful stuff I experienced during military service as well. So UFOs I saw in Afghanistan and all that type of stuff, if that floats your boat.
Excellent. Anything coming up soon?
Loads of stuff, mate, but it's typical me in that I'm going to do stuff all the time. And then nothing ever appears. So I won't promise anyone anything.
Under promise, over deliver. That's the way to do it. Brian, Scottish Prepper 73. What's your channel all about and what's coming up?
I try and concentrate on preps that make life easy, that try and keep your lifestyle normal, rather than running out into the forest to hunt squirrels with a stick at the first sign of a power cut. So I would prefer to keep tech as long as possible than to throw it all out the window should anything go wrong. So my interests are predominantly solar and backup power systems, kit reviews, anything to make your life that little bit easier should the unexpected happen.
Excellent. And what videos are coming up?
Mate, I've got a backlog that I've not done anything yet. See the little wind-up radios with solar panels on them? I've got one in bits somewhere over behind those screwdrivers, and I'm taking out the nasty Chinese battery and putting in a decent battery. And I'll be doing a video review on how long the shitty battery works when you get it versus how long a decent one lasts. So for the sake of about £9, you'll be able to extend the longevity of its function.
Upgrade your radios. And you got a knife review to do as well, right?
Yes, that'll be tail end of next week.
Excellent. And a giveaway. So go and check out Brian's channel for that. Alan, World Survivalist, what have we got coming up and what's your channel?
My channel is like the exact opposite of Brian's. I have no power lines. nothing to do with prep.
What interesting.
But I do have a video about how to catch a squirrel with a stick in the woods.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
It's kind of like it's wildernessy based type stuff, camping videos, kit reviews, some opinion piece stuff like that. I think the next video that's scheduled, I'm weeks behind with videos, but the next video is going to be a review of, I think, a chest harness. That'll come out in a couple of days' time, and then there's a few pre-scheduled after that. I'm looking into getting a new tent specifically for motorcycles that can also be used in winter conditions with stoves. So I'm currently shopping around for one of them, and I'll do a review on that when I get it.
How posh are you putting a motorcycle in a tent?
The bike is not going in the tent, but it has to fit on it. It has to fit on it.
Oh, I'm disappointed now.
He's been talking to John, mate. That's what it is.
My channel, if you're watching any of the others, is pretty much this, bringing lots of preppers together, taking you through my prepping journey, the different things I'm doing, including the mistakes and the mess ups and the uncharged stuff and the things that set on fire, as everyone will allude to. So it's worth tuning in just to see things and see if Mike's blown himself up this week. This week I've got a review of Rogers, which I've been to get some preps at. I'm going to do an update on the Prepper Pantry, and I've started my gardening stuff as well. So that's going to go onto the channel as well. I used to do charge time rants. My rants are now all going onto the Patreon, because then the YouTube police can't shout at me and I can say what the hell I want. So if you want a bit more unfiltered, Mike, then go and check out the Patreon channel. It's also the best way to support my channel. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Hawkins, any final thoughts on the topic, the war, the things going on at the moment, and your goodbyes, please, sir?
I'm just looking forward to the next 48 hours and the amount of popcorn I shall consume.
You're a sick puppy. Brian, any final thoughts on this and goodbyes?
Just that we live in interesting times, folks, and unfortunately, this hasn't been the quick resolution we hoped for, and it's a good time to be a prepper. Take care.
Excellent. Alan?
I would say start to ration what you have now, not in any kind of extreme way, but have a general, honest review of how much energy you consume and the kind of foods that you're buying and things like that just now, and start to think about how you can reduce that now while the times are somewhat good, just in case in the near future we start having spikes in energy costs and general household bills, etc. Start to get yourself in that mindset now, so it's not a sudden shock. It's better to ease yourself into it.
Excellent. John, any final thoughts and your goodbyes?
I'm thinking of starting up her channel, and the first 5 videos will be me taking out the nasty people who've been insulting me all night. It'll be a great
You
watch.
tell them, buddy. You tell them. Don't let her pick on you.
Attempting to, John.
And a squirrel on a stick.
Excellent. Okay. Andy, any final thoughts and your goodbyes?
Yep. For everybody who's worried about John coming after me there, I will publish his strongly worded letter to me when I receive it. And
Very strongly worded letter.
and like Alan said, I would just start rationing now, guys. Pull it back where you can. Doing little test runs of where you can save here and there. And go from there.
Yeah. Excellent. I would just add to the rationing side of things of just doing an honest self-assessment. It's very easy to think you've got X amount of stuff, and then when you actually audit it and check it, you've not really. So test your preps, check your food amounts, check your water amounts. Just make sure you're in a good position and where you want to be. Don't go and blow all your credit cards, because it could all be fine. Okay, it's not doom and gloom. We're not heading for the bunker just yet, so just stay sensible. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all in the next one. The Patreon names will come up at the end. I've not updated it, so there's 2 new members. Sorry, you're not on the list. You will be next time. Goodbye.
Round the fire, warm and bright, stocked up food for the night. Got our plans set in gold for the days when it's cold. Tools and gear stacked up high in the cabin we reside, listening to the winds howl, prepping for the morning's prowl. At the prepper's fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, around the fire every night.